And what is up? Welcome back. It is Friday night. You are here live with the Average Boys podcast. It's your boy Crispy, and today I am riding solo. My two co-hosts, Trigger and my co-host Brian D from New Jersey, are out today. I do appreciate every one of you for coming in, tuning in, and checking out the show every Friday night here with us live on the Average Boys podcast. I hope everybody's having a good week. This week's pretty cool. It's pretty nice. It's pretty chill. Not a lot going on, but what I wanted to do first is I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that tunes in and checks us out. We appreciate every one of you, and we hope that you guys are in the comment section. And don't forget to tell people about us. You know, make sure that you guys go out there and add us on Spotify and all your podcasting needs and everything, so that way you don't miss a show. You never miss our opinions on things and stuff like that. So thank you guys very much. We appreciate you guys. Yeah, this week was pretty cool. We got our first cold front down here in the South Texas area. It was very, very nice for as long as it lasted. We got some rain too, which is always pretty good, so can't beat that. And yeah, today it was a scorcher again. It went right back to it. No wind, no nothing. It was pretty dark and pretty gloomy with the sun out and stuff like that, but got out and did some cool stuff today. Been working a lot on my graphics design stuff, and I got a gig next week with our boy Georgie from the comment section that usually pops in. So I'm going to be doing that. Of course, I think it's an interesting conversation, and of course, like the situation that's been going on has got people, you know, on the high end is the situation that's going on across the world, and we hope for peace and you know, prayers out for the families of all the people that are going through all this situation in Israel and Palestine and stuff like that in Gaza. So I'm not really in the sense of picking sides. I'm you know, on the side of humanity, and I just hope that peaceful talks can happen, and I hope that the violence stops. And I think that's pretty much where I sit and where most people sit. So yeah, prayers out to the families in both situations. Onwards onto the nerd news for this week. We don't got a lot going on. Of course, there's a lot of things that are going on with Marvel that we're going to be covering today. I might have a friend of mine pop in, Michael Betancourt, of course. He might come in and have conversations with me, which would be pretty nice, because it's pretty difficult running a show by yourself and yeah, talking to yourself most of the time, but you know, I can manage and stuff like that. But first part of the news that I wanted to really cover today, of course, is in the concept of gaming news. Something really, really big happened today, which is really, really crazy. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick so that way I can read it with you guys. Let's see. How to share audio screen. There we go. Screen one. So Microsoft acquires Activision Blizzard in a $69 billion gaming deal. So today this popped off. This happened probably, a couple hours ago. Microsoft acquired the gaming giant Activision on Friday, closing one of the biggest deals in video game history after more than a year of close scrutiny from antitrust officials around the world. Now, for years, Activision has been an open market with Sony. I think they've been working with Sony all these past couple of years, but this is a new acquisition where Microsoft acquired it, which is, of course, not PlayStation, but Xbox. What a lot of people are thinking this is going to do is this is going to put a hinder on Call of Duty Activision and all this other stuff, all the other gameplays going to different consoles. No, that's not what's going to happen. They're going to continue to sell out to all the different variations of consoles, PC, anything you name it. They're going to go across the board. It's just that they're being acquired by probably the biggest name in technology and computer and PC history. Like, instead of them working third party or working with, like, I mean, Sony's a big name, of course, Sony PlayStation and all that stuff. But I don't think they've been doing as hot when it comes to some of the titles they have been releasing, or the way that the consoles have been keeping up with each other. I think the PlayStation 4, if I'm not mistaken, is kind of like lackluster compared to what the Xbox has been coming out with. And then, of course, like PSVR and all that other stuff that's been coming out. I think PSVR 2 came out, and it kind of rock socks. A lot of people were with it. The PlayStation VR 2 hit really good. kind of like change the market a little bit, introducing into more of like integrating into like the Meta Quest 3. The Meta Quest 3 is another VR system. I have my 2, which was given to me by my brother Bobby. He's super cool. Thank you, Bobs. But yeah, the PlayStation VR 2 has been a pretty big hit. But the problem is the video games that are going out to that system. With Microsoft acquiring this, Microsoft, biggest name in PC history and video games and all that stuff. So we read on into it. The first announced in January 2022, the deal faced heavy scrutiny from regulators in the European Union, United States, United Kingdom, who are arguing that the acquisition could raise prices for games and harm competition in the gaming industry, including cloud-based gaming. In total, more than a dozen countries reviewed the acquisition. So in the last several years, video games have been going up in price, and the content has not been going and getting any better. It's actually not super well together. So you have to remember that. Like let's say Modern Warfare 3 is about to drop. They just released the beta. So gamers out there, if you're all out there checking it out, you saw this past week they did Modern Warfare Live. A lot of video game YouTubers and content creators and Twitch people were out there representing the game. The live release, they were all excited. They were all in arms about it being amazing and all this other stuff, just to find out that the game is literally what Modern Warfare 2 should have been on release, but they're selling it to you at $70 again. The I don't know how many maps are coming out. I heard like it's like 3 to 5 maps that are coming out new, but they're going to be revamping and just re-skinning a lot of the old maps and just making them newer for consoles. And then bringing back all your skins and guns and all the stuff that you bought for your characters. And skins are like $20 a person practically. You're putting a lot of money into this game. But that's the problem is all of this microtransactions and processing due to the Call of Duty and you know EA Sports and all these, or EA, the other company. These guys have been doing and clamoring at the idea of microtransactions. The problem with the situation is they are charging people a full price game and just giving you exactly what you paid for the last time. Guys, we have a guest that I bring in usually when I'm doing solos to get his opinion because he's a great man. Shout out to my boy and our guest for today, Michael Betancourt. Michael Betancourt, what is up, my dude? Good to see you again, my man. Can you hear me?
Hey, have no fear. I am here, sir. What's going on?
Yeah, my all might for today, dude. How's it going, Mike?
Whoa, lost you there for a second.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect.
Good. How you doing, Michael?
Doing all right. Exhausted. It's been a long freaking day, a long week, but we're going good.
It's good to see you, my man. Good to see you. Are you in the Valley? Are you getting ready for your event coming up? What, next week?
Yeah, next weekend we got the Psychotronic Spree happening at CNL Ray. We are going to drop some announcements this weekend and all that jazz, some special announcements from our adult celebrities. They'll be sending out some videos. Welcome everybody to the show. It's going to be a different type of event. We're starting it at 4 p.m. on Saturday nights. You go from 4 p.m. to about 10 p.m. And then we're going to have a live shadow cast of the Rocky Horror Picture Show happening. And then it goes on to 2 a.m. in the morning. Yeah. And all that's with our guests, with Claire Redfield performing all for $20.
That's right. Claire Redfield. Sarah, how do you say her last name?
Stephanie Panicello. Yeah.
Panicello. Yeah. I do remember her. You brought her down before for another event that you guys had in the past. It was a good turnout. Awesome guest. Super good with the attendees. Really engaging and interactive with everybody. Such a great, warming person. Super nice. Very considerate to everybody. It was super cool having her, and it's going to be good to see her again.
Yes, sir. Yeah, no, she's an awesome guest. And quite an enthusiastic airsoft and paintballer, oddly enough, that I just found out.
Oh, shit. That's something new. Well, I mean,
yeah, dude.
Correlates with Claire Redfield from, Resident Evil. She gets the opportunity to go out there and do some, crazy in-character, in-cosplay stuff. So can't beat that.
No, not at all. Especially since, she herself is a zombie horror and zombie movie fan. So it kind of makes sense that she's prepared for the apocalypse kind of a deal and is ready to
That's so rad.
Pop a few caps if necessary. Yeah.
That is so rad. What, in your opinion, what has been your favorite content for Resident Evil? What has been like your muse for Resident Evil in the last couple of years? That's ranging. It could be like game or movie.
For me, and it's an unpopular opinion, right? So I remember the days back in when PS1 or was it PS2? PS1 had the first Resident Evil. We saw the hyper pixelated zombie turn its head for the first time.
No, dude, that scared the fuck out of me when I was a kid, man.
Yeah, it's horrifying, but my unpopular opinion is that Resident Evil Raccoon City, the most recent movie, did a pretty decent job adapting the video game storyline. I know everybody hated the Leon casting for it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, everybody. But, you can't please everybody.
Yeah, but I think he did a pretty decent job working with what it worked with. It gave us what I think is the best looking Wesker we've had in a long time. So yeah,
I thought it was pretty cool. I kind of, I dug the format and the way that they created the film, and they did like, they tried to do the whole like font into the certain times of day or the locations that they were at. Raccoon City, 4:30 a.m. And then they tried to have everything correlate by a certain time period at the police department, like the way the game was. I was blown away. I thought it was a really cool format. I really, really dug the way that they did this recent film. I was kind of hoping that they were going to kind of continue it, but I don't think it got a really good reception when it was released.
It didn't get a good reception, but its ratings and its views streaming wise get way better. So as of right now, they greenlit a second one, but haven't produced anything yet.
So with your event that you guys are going to be doing, the Psychotronic Spree at Cine El Rey next weekend, you are bringing adult movie stars, yes.
Yeah, but bringing 5 of them.
But they also do Twitch and streaming and stuff, right?
Yeah, they are amateur cosplayers. So we're gonna have our girls give them tips and strategies on how to go into the professional world of cosplay model. They are also gamers. We have Street Fighter 6 gamer. We have some Fortnite players. Yeah, they live stream their stuff.
That's very cool. That's very, very cool. I mean, it's always of course they do their content from what they're, they've built their reputations on and stuff like that. But having that essential, like cookie fingers in the cookie jar, kind of like in every different, aspect out there is always a good thing.
Yes, sir.
So like the format that you guys are going to be doing. So the Cine El Rey is different from where you guys have been before, like in event centers and stuff. What is going to be the format for like kind of like the layout that we're looking at for Psychotronic this time?
It's a different show. So we're not doing what you usually expect from a show like this. We're not going to have 47 vendors and, you're just walking around the vendor room and that's it. We're working on content.
Very nice.
So what you're going to get is minimal vendors. They're adult themed vendors. So we got our guy Yokai Yobai, which is
Eden, man.
Yeah,
our boy Eden, he's so cool, man.
His amazing artwork. We love his stuff. I wish he would produce the shirt already. Got nudes with the girl that has the sun.
The noodles and stuff. Yeah, that was G, man.
I'd rock that shirt definitely. We have some other adults themed artists and vendors that'll be out there, and they're going to be selling their stuff. And we're going to be working on content on what it's like to be an adult celebrity. We're talking about horror. We're going to be talking about sci-fi. We have a ghost hunting crew that'll be out there talking about their investigations. And it's just going to be a different type of show. So the entire time is going to be just panels and discussions and content for you as a fan. So instead of you just walking into a vendor room and chilling out at a marketplace, you're here to participate and do something and see something. Very cool. So yeah, we're going to have out some games for you to play with our cosplay girls. And you'll be playing those games and winning prizes on us. So we'll have things like, horror-themed earrings, some adult-themed earrings. I know we ordered out quite a bit of penis earrings for people to win and stuff like that. Yeah, so this is going to be different. It's for the grown-ups. It's 18 or over, and that is it. And then, like I said, we'll have 2 bands performing at the end of the night. We're bringing back the Polybius Cabinet. I can't now see the other band yet until I get a contract out to them. But 2 groups performing later in the evening, and then we'll close for an hour so the group can get ready. The Pluma Blanco Community Theater, so they can do their Rocky Horror Picture Show shadow cast with the film, and it's officially licensed, so it's an actual thing. You're not getting some cheap little, The Door or whatever that church group was that changed Hamilton. a few years ago.
Yeah.
For that. Yeah,
you know what? I want to say that that church, the Door or whatnot, weren't they the ones that used to put on that awesome haunted house though? Do you remember that one that used to be on the corner of I want to say Nolana and Freddie Gonzalez in Edinburgh?
I think it was Fellowship Light or something
like that. I want to say it was The Rock or something, but they used to have like a baller haunted house. And it was like lines of people always lined up. And then at the very end, they'd be like, well, we're going to do like a church sermon on the way out if you accept Jesus. I was like, geez, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
I didn't see that guy. I was like, man, their advertisement is hella good, man.
Yeah.
They were smart about it. Time with that one, man. I'll tell you. I
remember when I was in high school, there was a girl that thought she was real pretty, and I was really into her. And she's like, "You need to go with me to this haunted house." I was like, "All right, let's go check this thing out." I was like, "All right, I'm gonna go with this hot girl to the haunted house. It's gonna be great." And she's like, "This is my church, and we showed you hell, so you can save you now." I was like, "This is not what I was expecting from this situation."
We can save you now, though.
Yeah,
dude. But man, that haunted house was like, it was really good.
Oh yeah,
it was really good. In my mind, I was like, have I just been going to the wrong church all my life? These guys are rad, dude. Like
these were more metal than I thought they were going to be. Yeah.
Next month, Slipknot gets saved out in the parking lot or whatever. Like we're bringing Slip. I was like, sure, like you know, I'm down.
The New Testament brought to you by Guar and stuff like that.
Lamb of God. Like, fuck. I was like, dude, that was wild, man. But that was a really, really cool like haunted house. But like, okay, so like with Psychotronic Spree, you have a partner that you've been with for a while, Abel, good cat, you know, really awesome vendor, sells some really cool pieces, really, really big horror fan. One of the people that, you know, has put his money where his mouth is when it comes to like his horror items that he sells. He's got staples of items that he sells with autographs and mementos from actual films, like just a G stuff when it comes to horror. And he used to work on an all year long horror show that was called Nightmare on Broadway, right? You remember? We all remember this place, which was really cool. I don't know if it's still around. I don't think Abel really works with them anymore, but I don't know if it's still active or it's going to be activated for the Halloween time or if it's already opened. But I heard some crazy news today.
What is that?
That the Toluca Ranch is back up and running.
Yeah, the Toluca Ranch is
that is super cool. That's a really, really cool spot. If you guys get a chance, Toluca Ranch, and you're in the Valley area, these are the days that are going to be available, all the Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays, and the last Tuesday of the month, just in case you miss it, the 31st Tuesday of October. Tickets are $30, VIP $60. Hours are from 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. Yeah, they have a really great video that they put up if you go to their website, but I'm not going to play the audio because it's, you know, it's theirs or whatever, but really classy stuff here, man. They have black and white, little horror action going on and stuff like that. These guys have been around. Have you ever been to this horror haunted house?
Yeah, back in the day with the TV and radio stations when we had to go do that. Actually, when I used to go out with your brother, oddly enough.
Yeah, Bob's.
To go do all that stuff. But we did that, and then the Donna Corn Maze one back in the day.
Man, I remember when they did
the first carnival theme, a circus themed one they did. I want to say it was the Donna Corn Maze, but we did an advertising campaign for it, where an insane asylum's bus got into a crash on Highway 83 or headed to McAllen or something, and that the insane
is that one of these
people were the asylum people were lost in the Donna area and to not pick anybody up. And they believed that advertisement so hard we were getting calls at the radio station, the TV station.
Dude,
tell us really more. You know, are there killer clowns really out there? And they were horrified. It took me, man, I remember almost an entire week of damage control with, and shout out to Monica Quintanilla, my old boss. At Observation, you know, fielding those phone calls of people just losing their minds because I want to say Vantage Media did the advertising campaign because they believed it. They believed this bus crashed and let out all these
crazy people just got out for no reason and shit.
And for some reason they were all dressed like damn clowns on the bus and no one thought about it. And I don't know, Jesus Christ.
They were just giving all the crazy people makeup and fucking all this stuff to dress them like clowns and shit. Well, good on that, man. What great PR that was. What great PR that was. It's so funny. As a matter of fact, mom, shout out to my mom who's watching right now they are out of town at a church conference, and we're over here talking about all our horror stuff.
Oh, of course. Your mother's online, and she's like, this guy's talking about porno.
My mom does amazing stuff. My mom does amazing stuff with the church. But, I just want to let people know that these are the events that are going on. It is October. It is the scary season. It's time to get out and have some fun. The weather, of course, is changing. The valley's getting a little cooler. Hopefully it stays that way and not like today, because today was a hot one. Today was a pretty hot one today. Hopefully we get that nice weather coming back, and it's just something enjoyable downtown, not downtown, but at the McAllen Convention Center. I don't know if you saw, but they do have some really cool inflatable balloons that are out there for people. They already got the Christmas stuff up. I'm kind of bummed out about that, but that's like Walmart where they already have Christmas things already happening. But it's like, let us have our month, man.
I'm not sure, because I did read that the McAllen Convention Center was going to do their Christmas tree, the light up one, but turn into a Dia de los Muertos display. So that might be why that tree is going up already, that they're going to do some type of display towards the end of the month for it.
That's pretty cool. You know what? As a matter of fact, let me check that out real quick, because I was in the events page earlier and I saw this. Yeah. So this is an event that's going on tomorrow. This will be on Ware Road, I think at the Lark. Oh, at the Parks and Rec in McAllen. Parks and Rec. They're doing a 5K run and all that stuff tomorrow. But
because we all know that when I think about candy, I think about running 5K.
I think about running fucking 3 miles, right? Yeah, I'm real about that life. Yeah, it's like, oh, dude, that's like the beer runs. Oh, that's just the worst, dude.
Yeah, no, that's
like, that would be the equivalence to me being like, oh, dude, chocolate milk run. Like, fuck, let's go run and drink milk. Like, no, that's not something. Oh, Elizabeth, what's up from San Antonio? I hope you're doing good. She says, will you all be able to see the eclipse tomorrow? As a matter of fact, yes. I think it's flying right over the valley, if I'm not mistaken, which is, pretty much the Texas area. I think it goes right through the lower central to El Paso across Texas and stuff like that. Yeah, but knowing us, we're just gonna get all the heat. That shades ain't gonna hit us for nothing, man. We'll be on the rim. It's just gonna be a circle, just enclosing the body. But yeah, we got the cool glasses. If you guys need some down here in the valley, Kaboom Comics is selling some of the Eclipse glasses. If not, Stripes has some. Everyone's out there selling the Eclipse glasses. What's that stuff called back in the day? It's like the snake poison. Whoa, you want to see the eclipse? Get these glasses, magic time. Yeah, but I think they're selling them for $1.
Oil salesman, yeah.
Yeah, snake oil. Yeah, dude, we're like, whoa, all you got to do is just get some black tint and you're good to go. If your dad's a welder, just get his helmet, put that shit on. In fact, you can do the shoebox. There's a million things online that you can watch to do the shoebox technique. So there's a bunch of ways to watch it if you guys do, but and
for legal reasons, guys, please protect your eyes. Don't look straight up at the
stare right at the sun. Fuck it. Tell them I sent you. Tell them I sent you. There's nothing else good to look at anymore. That'd be so funny. 80% of the people in the valley go blind thanks to a podcaster. The greatest thing on the planet.
Chris B fried everybody's eyes. Apparently,
he's a villain. He's a villain. He's in his villain arc, and I'm all. No, man, it's just crazy. But tomorrow, what's the thing about it though? We've seen eclipses before in our life, but is this the last eclipse till the sun explodes kind of thing, or what?
No, it's just the spooky season timing. We got the solar eclipse, we got Friday the 13th weekend, we have Halloween coming up. There's some type of lunar eclipse also happening. There's a meteor shower. It's kind of like the universe is going nuts.
It's our time to take our crystals outside in the moon, or what? Get recharged, or what?
At this point, I think Mercury's in Gatorade or something. I don't know. I'm not an astrologer.
The ocean's gonna turn to berry blue raz.
Yeah, you know the way it goes. Cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria. Yeah, all that jazz.
The ocean's gonna turn into pumpkin spice flavoring and shit. Yeah, I'm excited.
And then Starbucks will brand it, and then we're all fucked.
I'm about this life, dude. I'm super about this life. Yeah, someone was CC Builds, right? CC Christella was talking to me about it today. She was like, yo, we're gonna get glasses and we're gonna stare at the sun. It's gonna be real cool. And I'm like, that doesn't sound cool. That doesn't sound cool at all. But she was like, yeah, this is gonna be like the last eclipse for a while, and I was like, I'm fuck. I mean, it's the sun. I see it every day. If it comes with shade, I mean, I'm just happy we don't have to pay extra for it. Jesus Christ. Can you imagine if the government was like, look, the solar eclipse is going to make the earth cooler. You're going to have to pay for it. Like, we're giving this to you guys.
I mean, at this point, I'm paying for everything else. Like, I can believe it. You know that, hey, it's 3 degrees cooler tax. I'm going to get that on the
So, like, are you guys okay, let me ask you guys, like, are you getting reamed by your electric company this month?
Oh, yeah.
Like, for these past couple of months, have you been getting reamed by them?
Yeah, man. We're in
Why
Texas,
is it that people protest for weird shit, but like for the stuff that matters like that, like people aren't protesting against the electric company?
Because we are in Texas.
Yeah. Oh,
so,
man.
Yeah, we are owned and powered by our state governments, and they're dumb.
Was it?
We can get into the level of politics of this and how annoyed I get with it.
Like we're old. You and I are old cats. Well, I did not realize this, Mike, but I am 2 years fucking older than you. Jesus Christ. It wasn't like this when we were younger. Like it wasn't this expensive.
You know, it's the obvious reasons. Inflation, you know, there's the cost of living goes up. We're doing a bunch of more expensive shit. But, you know, honestly, we're adults now, and we didn't realize. I mean, if your parents, busted as much ass as most parents, should. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm sure your mom did everything in her power to make sure you didn't see this.
My mom's a G, man. She worked her ass off, and we appreciated it every day.
Yeah, and then straight up working at church right now as we talk about porn stars. Man, I'm going to feel weird if I ever meet your mother in person.
But, I've always been the weird kid, and she'll tell you, like, I'll do my favorite fucking story. My mom's got weird stories of me when I was a kid, and I tell her not to tell anybody. But there was this one time, my first tattoo I ever got. I'll never fucking forget it.
When you were 6 years old.
The Wolverine. It was like my Wolverine tattoo, right? This one.
Okay.
And I remember the first thing my brother Bobby went with me, and he's like, "Hey, I want to be there because, you know, I know getting a tattoo's big, and I'm not telling you should or you shouldn't, but like this is on you. I just want to be there for you because like he's like when I got my first tattoo, I was a little nervous." And I was like, oh, okay, well, I just jump off of buildings. I get in fights. Like, I'm not nervous. It's going to be fun as hell. I'm getting a Wolverine tattoo. Like, that's my boy, man. You know what I mean? Like, I'm about to rep for the rest of my life. But Bobby was like, okay, cool. And then my sister, Megan, of course, Megan showed up and she was like, oh, cool, Chris. Like, you got a tattoo. Like, I know you probably always wanted one. So, like, it fits you. Like, it goes with you because you're like that kind of guy or whatever. And I remember the first thing my brother Bobby told me, he goes, okay, Chris, like, I'm going to take you home because he wasn't living with us at the time. He had his own apartment. And he goes, don't tell mom and dad because they're going to freak the fuck out. Like, they got mad at me when I got my tattoos. And you're like the younger boy of the family. Like, and you're like the nice guy. Like, you're always the respectable. Like, just don't say anything. Like, because they're going to get super mad. And I was like, you got it, Bobby. I'm not going to say a darn thing because you're right. They're going to get mad. The first thing I do is like, Mom and Dad, look what I got. Like, yeah, I just showed them like real quick. And they were like, ay, Chris, I know. Ay, Dios mío. Like, they were all freaking out. But like, I couldn't. I was just really excited. But yeah, I've always been that dude. So like us talking about like the adult stars and all that stuff in the show, like it's all right. She's just gonna be like, "Ay, mijo, ay, Chris, you're such a weirdo." But in the factor of it too, like this isn't the first time we've worked in this kind of factor, right? There used to be the Monster Ball that Cino Ray used to host 5-6 years ago. Isaac Guerra and Bert and all those guys. Like we've known those guys for a very long time. Especially in the promotional world, the entertainment world, and stuff like that. So the idea of even that show, even this show, it's not going to be like, you're not going to see a lot of weird stuff. Product, maybe, but everyone is pretty respectful. Everybody's like, not yes sir, no sir. People are having a good time, but it's not going to be some like, you're not walking into a set of the Crow City of Angels. You're not walking into the Blade scene with all the blood in the first, even though it was the greatest fucking action sequence ever in the Blade movie, the first one with the blood and the rave and all that stuff, probably the coolest thing. We're not walking into like a BSM kind of thing or a BDS. Like it's going to be pretty much like people meeting people networking, people selling product, people vendoring, and just a little bit of coolness, like you said, more for adults more than children. And then of course a really cool performance by the Rocky Horror Picture Show cast. And of course that'll be a soft showing, which will be like the movie will be playing on the theater, and we'll be having actors live on stage performing some of the acting roles, right?
Yep. 100%.
Yeah, so that sounds cool. That sounds super fun. Can't wait. I hope it's going to be super exciting. How many days are you guys going to do, and what are the times?
We're Saturday and Sunday. For Saturday, it's 4 p.m. till 2 a.m. or so when everything ends.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sunday, we're doing from noon to 6, and we're done.
Very, very cool. Super excited, man. Super excited. I might not make Saturday because I'm going to be heading off to Laredo to go help our boy Georgie.
All right, awesome.
Yeah, he's doing a wedding, and he needs some backup. So I'm gonna go out there with my cool tactical camera and shoot some wedding zombies. Zombies. But Sunday I'll be back in town, and we'll make sure we hit it up and go out and party and have a good time. Can't wait to see everybody and see all the cool shit that happens. I'm really excited for you guys to be over here in McAllen. Doing the event downtown. I think that's a great event for you guys. At least the area, I think it's gonna help out, get people involved and bring people to it.
That's what we're hoping for. Hey, Chris, let me let you go real quick. Nature's calling. I'll be right back, man.
Yeah. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. But yeah, guys, if you do have a chance, let's go ahead and remove this one. Do not forget that this coming week, let me see where I put it. Psychotronic should be going on. Make sure you guys go check it out. It's going to be a great event. Here is the website. If you guys have an opportunity, make sure you guys come and check out the website. Here is what is it? Sarah, I can never say her last name. It's like an awesome Italian name. Panicello. She plays Claire Redfield for Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil the newer game. She'll be out there. She's an e-gamer. Plays games and does all that cool shit. Guys, make sure you check it out. And of course, come and check out all the other actresses that are going to be on site, plus local cosplayers, local vendors. Everybody's going to be out here. David Garcia from The Collector in the comment section. What is up, 956 a la verga? It's good to see you, my man. Hope you are doing good. Welcome back if you're back in the valley. If not, make sure you have a safe trip down. But yeah, guys, Psychotronic is going on next week. And like I said, also, the Toluca Ranch is going to be, it's already open. This is a live haunted house that is kind of seasonal. It's not open all year long, but it is open a pretty good amount of time. You'll see where it's located. We are located right in Westaco, Texas, CR-1702, Westaco, Texas, 78596. Look it up online, Toluca Ranch Haunted House. Check it out. Take your family, take your date, take your girlfriend, take your boyfriend, take whoever you're going to go to and go get scared and check it out. It's going to be a fun time. You guys will love it. I guarantee it. Back to what we were talking about earlier. Here it is. Microsoft acquired gaming Activision Blizzard on Friday, closing the biggest deal in video game history, more than a year of close scrutiny and antitrust. As you can see, people in the European area and a lot of other countries are talking about this. Microsoft itself has been known for its price gouging. And they're scared for the same thing when it comes to this video game franchise. You can know Activision does a crap load of video games. They have a lot of IPs under themselves. And they're afraid of the price gouging when it comes to video games. And what we were talking about right when Michael Betancourt jumped in the podcast, we were talking about the concept of like Call of Duty. Everybody knows Call of Duty. We got Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2. We got World at War. We got Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3. We got a bunch of different millions of fucking game titles. But like we were saying earlier, when Modern Warfare 2 dropped, this was the problem in the video game world when it happened the first time. Modern Warfare 2 dropped, and it was very underwhelming. It didn't reach the par of where the gamers wanted it to be, and it was missing a lot of stuff. Yes, they were able to reskin the maps, bring things from the past and bring the nostalgia bones back and get them rattling, but the game was lackluster. A lot of the gamers that went to this past week's live Activision Modern Warfare 3, it's like live gaming and intro and all this stuff, and then they released the beta to the public. A lot of the YouTubers were clamoring and saying that it was the greatest thing, and some of them actually came out, this was days later, saying that they were paid to say this stuff. And that's the problem with a lot of these reviewers and gamers and all this stuff, is that they get paid to promote these games, which is something we should all kind of consider first when it comes to these, because there's a privilege when it comes to the opportunity to be flown out and get to play these games for free before everyone else, and get video and get gifts and gift baskets and all this stuff from these people. You have to stay in their good graces to accommodate and to get those things. You won't be able to, as a reviewer or as someone, to be able to give your personal opinion without them taking away those attributes. That's just the way the world works right now when it comes to these things. People do not pay people to have an honest review. They pay them for the opportunity to use the reach that they have and the clout that they have to be able to reach their clientele and their fan base. So when it comes to the video game stuff, I know that a lot of people will tell you, like me, myself, I'm a big fan of the Black Ops series. We talk about this almost every other week. The Treyarch zombie storyline is a really, really great story. It's rich with lore. The story is very deep. I really appreciate it. That has kind of gone away over the past couple of years, and the zombie assets are still there, which is something that was brought up in Modern Warfare 2. They brought Treyarch, the company, to create a great zombie map. The experience that they brought was not similar to the story I grew up with, but it's new, so maybe it's something that a lot of people will like. Large team setup, you doing not round based, but large map, open world. You get to a certain section, and the farther you go into the city, the more harder the zombies and creatures get. There is a little bit of lure and stuff that you can unlock with the story. And yeah, if you're about that life, you go check it out. It's story based. I'm not really sure in the sense of what it's giving you for lure in the sense of the story, but we'll check it. No Russians. I don't know, man. I don't know if there's any Russians. It deals with either the Warzone 2 map or one of the recent maps from Modern Warfare. It's what I've seen. It's more of like the Nazi zombie assets. So a lot of the characters do sound, claw and move like the Treyarch zombies from Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 3, which is probably the better variation of the zombie story in that gaming structure. But there are some, even the Magwas, which are like the bigger monsters that come out with 3 heads that you got to shoot and destroy. There's like a big boss and stuff like that. It's in the trailer. You can't miss it. But other than that, it's very just you go around, you do some missions, and that's kind of it. Eels, what is up, my dude, man? It's good to see you, bro, man. Should I feel like I haven't seen you? I was literally just thinking about you the other day. I was playing someone was talking about Destiny 2, and I was like, oh man, that's my boy Eels, man. Hopefully you're doing good. Hopefully the kids are doing good and your wife's doing good and everybody's just kicking ass. Yeah, hopefully you're doing good, brother. But yeah, we're talking right now about the Microsoft acquisition of Activision, and we're talking about kind of like the pros and the cons. Right now, I think it's the video game world's in a bad shape. Like, it's in bad shape because it's not really kind of promoting anything when it comes to great story. They just released Assassin's Creed Mirage, right? And a lot of people were kind of excited, and the gameplay came out, and it was very linear, very boring. The story was kind of lackluster. Yeah, like, you know, and the Assassin's Creed games have always been a staple in the gaming community, very much like God of War. And for that to be falling off, I think a lot of people said that Black Flag fell off too. Odyssey picked up a little bit better. But yeah, Mirage, it recently came out. It didn't really, really hit very well. But we'll see how that goes. I'm not going to play that game. I'm not a big fan of that stuff. But yeah, Activision acquired, what is it? Microsoft acquired Activision, so hopefully it goes better. Hopefully they do good for the company, and they don't try to just swindle people for money, because, like I said, the gaming industry is kind of whack. No great stories are coming out. It's very hard to find something that people want to play and get really into. Of course, like the younger generation of kids, I don't know, man. Like, it's cool. Like, I really appreciate the gaming world for what it did for me as a child and growing up to an adult. But the newer generation is very much just like battle royales. A lot of people clamoring at the idea of this, like, well, I'm going to be an e-gamer and I'm going to be famous, or I'm going to be a streamer. I'm going to be famous. And you know, being able to go out and play with your friends, like, that's cool. But like, when the games lack story, it lacks the opportunity for people to get invested into those IPs. And nobody wants to spend money on things that they can't get invested in. You know, people will play Fortnite. It's free. Minecraft, I mean, that's kind of like been a thing. But speaking in the game world, like I myself, I never really got to play a lot of the series, but I ended up being a pretty big Five Nights at Freddy's fan, and we're getting a film soon, which I'm really excited about. And again, this goes back to the idea of me talking about lore. And what do I mean by lore? I myself am a person who likes storytelling. I prefer storytelling. I think that's great. And I think that's what attracts people to certain, IPs and stuff. Right now, you look at Gen V. Gen V is on Prime Video based off The Boys. It's a side story based on these characters that are, yes, in the comics, sort of, but they're a lot more cynical in the series in the comics. But the television show is pretty whelming when it comes to the way that it's kind of expanding the characters, getting us to kind of invest into it. We're going to be talking about Gen V later. We're going to be talking about episode 5, but overall the story is compelling. It has me attracted more than what Star Wars gave us, or more than what Marvel's been giving us. So yeah, it's very important to have really, really good, deep story. And like I said, a lot of these stories aren't coming out that well, but the thing that I'm really, really excited for and going into the next session is Five Nights at Freddy's coming out on theater. In theater, the movie's releasing, I want to say, let me check it out real quick. October 27th or let me get the date real quick. Five Nights at Freddy's date. Okay, so Five Nights at Freddy's is a video game series. Let me see, Five Nights at Freddy's movie release date. Here we go, October 27th. Yeah. So it's going to be releasing October 27th. Five Nights at Freddy's is about it's okay. If you never heard of it, let me kind of give you just a really interesting breakdown. Five Nights at Freddy's is literally your fear when you were a child and you thought Chuck E. Cheese, like the animatronics at Gorilla George's or wherever, or Fun Times or whatever, those animatronics are going to come to life and kill you. That's pretty much the story behind Five Nights at Freddy's, minus the fact that they're successful most of the time. One of the owners is a psychopath, and he's continuously trying to kill children and put them in these machines. It's a crazy story. It sets up very, very well for a horror story. So that's why I myself am excited for this to get a actual film release. I'm going to fucking be there freaking day of release. I'm super excited. Gorilla George's did have animatronics though. It really did. If I'm not mistaken, it did. But that's the whole idea of Five Nights at Freddy's, right? It's the ideas of the animatronics coming to life and killing people. But when the game first came out, the creator did not have a story to the game itself. He just made a game and released it, and it ended up becoming easily a multi-million-dollar company. So he ended up jumping on the wagon, getting his work done, creating a part 2, creating some kind of assets in the background, Easter eggs that got people involved into wanting more and more and more. Now we are, I want to say, like 6 games in and 12 books deep, and it's so rich with lore. But of course, it has its up and downs in the stories too, where people don't like it and do like it. But the overarching story of Five Nights at Freddy's is a person is brought into a closed down pizzeria with animatronics still inside. He's a security guard, and he has to just make sure the animatronics don't do weird things, right? Of course, that sounds kind of ambiguous, but yeah, it ends up being where the animatronics are trying to kill him. So in the video game, your set is you have to stay inside your security office, and you're closing the doors and the lights and all this stuff. Of course, the gamers had, in the video game, you go back several days, and most of the gamers were like, why would this guy go back to work if they're trying to kill him? But yeah, I digress. William Ashton, all these guys are going to be in the movie. I'm really, really excited. But some interesting news came out this past week for the film. And I want to ask you guys, anybody that's out there in the comment section, I know I don't have a lot of people right now, but anybody out there that's watching, they released a date for the embargo today. And what the embargo is anyone who gets the opportunity to view the film early release gets the opportunity by the studio to release their personal review, non-spoilers, before the film comes out to help promote. It's usually the way it goes. People get the opportunity to go early. They get a red carpet, or they get some type of opportunity to see the film. Then they get to go home. And then the studio tells them, look, we offered you this opportunity. Please don't break contract, which is what the embargo is. So with Five Nights at Freddy's, you see here that the release of the film will be October 27th. And on Twitter, Five Nights Movies Info has released that the review embargo for Blumhouse's Five Nights at Freddy's reportedly lifts October 27th at 3 a.m. But you'll see here the Five Nights at Freddy's movies will be released on October 27th. So they're stating that the embargo will have the opportunity to be withheld or lifted after the film is released. What do you guys, your personal opinions, think of that? Like, when you hear the studio is not going to allow film reviewers to non-spoilery give their opinions on the film a little bit beforehand compared to the day of. What do you guys think of that when you hear that? Let me know in the comment sections. The reason why I ask is personally, I was going through several other YouTube streamers, and a lot of them were talking about this complaint. Hey, what's up, Mike? Welcome back, buddy.
I'm back. All right. Five Nights at Freddy's?
Yeah. Are you a Five Nights at Freddy's FNAF fan? Yeah, you and I have history with this.
Yeah.
But it's okay. Okay, it was experience, but it's fun.
Yeah. I will go down in history for the rest of my life saying it was a pain in the ass to get clearance for a helicopter to land at a zoo for that to become nothing. Like,
what a wild weekend, man. What a wild weekend. Well, at least if ever in conversation to break the ice, I could just say, like, I called in a helicopter ride once in a no-fly zone.
Yeah, you know how many times I have to go to people in my career field, go into people in public relations and advertising and say, you know what, one of the dumbest things that I did was for a weekend, I got clearance to go overnight after hours into a closed zoo with wild animals and got approval for somebody to go stand in the bat exhibit. With the live bats.
Dude, that was fucking wild, man. I mean, I know we don't really talk about it out loud, like publicly too much. We kind of just do it like as an inside joke.
Yeah.
I feel like time has passed enough that I think everybody's kind of gotten over it in the sense of our little weird drama with it. And shout out to all the people that were involved. Everybody's kind of gone off and done their own things.
Yeah, talking about doing their own things, Atreyu has to be doing
man.
amazing. I'm so damn proud of him.
Yeah, we all we are too, man. We had the opportunity to hang with Atreyu, the regular sauce, the man himself. What a Cinderella story. And I tell him all the time, like he's doing it, man. Like, literally starting off 15, just making costumes, cosplayer, now literally working as the animatronics expert for Steel Wool, the studio itself. I love this kid. He's such a great kid. And I feel so blessed to have had the opportunity. I got to thank you for it, man. Like, getting the opportunity to be able to sit down and work with him, with us, and you getting us all together for that project. It was really, really cool. It was extremely fucking cool.
It was an amazing flash moment in my life. That tends to be what my career is. I have all these really weird stories to tell. I have more stories and what the hells than I have money at this point. But hey, I'll die with a good story. It's all right.
But how amazing it was that back in the day we were working on that. And that was several years ago already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And during that time, the script for this and the story was still being like thrown at each other and turned into spitballs in their studio because it just kept getting pushed back. And Scott Kaufman was just like, no, I don't like it. No, I don't like it. Like, after the whole like creative conquest and all that stuff, right? Did you get more into Five Nights at Freddy's? Like, was there a desire to be like, okay, I want to see what all this crazy shit's about? Because you had the opportunity to talk to some people, man.
Yeah, I actually was. I had to. So with public relations and what I do, I tend to take it seriously, trying to understand what drives a creative person to do what they do. So when I had the opportunity to speak to Scott Cawthon, I think you have to pronounce his name. Yeah, I spoke to him quite a few times. He is an interesting human being, to say the least. He's very introverted. He's very reclusive. He holds his franchise and his product very close to his heart. So he doesn't want anybody touching it. So to connect with this person, I did my research. I think I watched Markiplier play through it on YouTube. Yeah. So just to get the basic of it, and the lore is good. The story is actually really good.
It's pretty wild. It's really wild for it to be a horror film. Like, I think this is going to be a silent banger for a lot of the people that just think it's a silly video game.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, the lore is great. I remember when we were working with Creative Conquest, I think Atreyu was with me when I got a phone call from him, and he nerded out real hard.
Yeah,
I had to go to that little secret room that we had there to talk to him. But the idea of us when we at the time trying to work with Blumhouse, trying to work with everybody to get this thing rolling was amazing. But yeah, I'm psyched for this movie. It should be really good.
Yeah, I remember when we were in the process of getting something started in the project and thing that we're working on. I don't want to get too crazy about getting into what we were doing since it never really happened, right? But, hanging out with Atreyu and talking to him and kind of getting ideas off of him. And then, of course, I had the opportunity when we would do our brainstorming, I came to you and I was like, hey, I wrote something kind of tiny and you might want to check it out or whatever. And you took it and you were like, holy shit, like, this is pretty cool. Like, it'd be pretty interesting if we could pull some shit off like that. It turned into like, from something being like a small, like little, like scare PewDiePie thing, ended up turning into like a whole film production. If you break it down, like it turned into like a whole story that we were creating. And I was really excited about it. And I thought it had a lot of potential, and it was for a good cause too at the time. But now we have this film coming out, and I don't know if you've had the opportunity to check out the trailers and to see what it's like, what it looks like. It looks very similar to what we were coming up with. It looks very 100%. Similar.
It's almost on the spot for the ideas that we're throwing around, and it helps that we had you guys there. You, Christella, working on the builds of everything that we needed to build. Atreyu with his animatronic work. The suits that we're putting together are damn near what they're going to be using in this.
Yeah,
film.
What they're using in the film.
Yeah. And it's kind of crazy just to look back at a time where COVID had stopped the world and we were working anyways.
Yep.
And to think about, and like you said, no, it's been a few years now. So although I remain salty about certain things,
of course,
because that's just the way, sadly, I am. I will hold on to that fucking forever. It was amazing that we got so much accomplished when we shouldn't have been able to.
True.
I remember there were talks about getting Atreyu an internship with Blumhouse, and it couldn't move forward because we got stuck with COVID. They couldn't take anybody in California. Their rules were more stringent than Texas, so they couldn't actually do what we needed to do. There was the creation of an entire team to write that story, to work with what you had already given us as far as your story. And mind you, and shout out to your gaming story idea that you gave that had little stages and scenarios that I wish we could have done something with, because I know there was a lot of great Creative Conquest as an idea, as a process of a company would have been wonderful if it hadn't been focused on one individual.
Well, minus that, in my opinion, I just think they jumped the gun too with the whole situation. Yeah. So like, keeping it on between us, that back in the day, like I just think I think there was one chief in the situation and a lot of Indians, but that chief was fucking stupid. Like I'll admit it. Like, and it's cool. Like I think he had a lot of he needed time to grow. He needed time to grow and to understand where he was at now.
And that's what it is. It's youth, because and I remember being frustrated with it, because the individual had the world of potential, and I told him, I was like, you have the world of potential. And I will try to figure out everything you need along the way. And I did. I mean, you know me. When somebody gives me a ridiculous challenge for some damn reason, whether I'm getting paid or not, I meet the challenge head on, and I tend to deliver. And if I can't, tell you, hey, I can't.
If not, we die on our shields.
Yeah, it's just the way this goes.
Yep.
He jumped the gun. I remember I got terminated overnight.
Yeah.
I woke up in the morning, I couldn't access emails. Yeah, no, it's a thing. But as far as the FNAF movie goes, and as far as the lore and everything, I'm excited for it. I enjoy the lore quite a bit. I've only played the first game, but I've watched every lore video there is at this point because they're exciting.
So okay, so what I want to ask you is what we have there on our title. So the studio came out and said they're going to release the embargo. They're going to lift the embargo for the film at 3 a.m. day of the release of the film. So October 27th is the release date for the film we see on top. And on Twitter, the FNAF info says the review embargo for Blumhouse's Five Nights at Freddy's reportedly lifts October 27th at 3 a.m. also. So what this states is instead of giving the opportunity for online reviewers and content creators to give an early release review of the film, what they're saying is instead of them getting the opportunity to release their reviews earlier than the release date of the film and give like non-spoilers review and stuff, they're doing it day of that they can only speak of it, which will go right to spoiler reviews. What's your opinion as a media guy hearing that the company wants to do an embargo lift day of, not before?
I honestly think this is a smart move for what the film is. The film is a video game movie, 100%. And you're going to have two major camps. Either the people don't know what the hell this is and are going to hate it because it's not the horror movie they're expecting.
Check.
Or two, they are so deep into the lore, they're going to be upset that something had to be changed to make it cinematic.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. We kind of all figure that has to be.
Yeah, so I think that's what Blumhouse is trying to get ahead of here. They're trying to make sure that people get to watch it on premiere day and form their own opinion. Because in reality, if we look back in the 80s and 90s, pre-internet era, that's what we used to have to do. Siskel and Ebert gave us reviews on films week of kind of a deal. And we had to wait to watch the show Friday nights or whatever after news at 10 on Channel 4 or Channel 5 just to see what the hell they were talking about when they were reviewing films.
True.
And
not only that, Siskel and Ebert were like intelligent when it came to film.
Yeah, they were true film critics. They aren't guys that are like, oh, I didn't like it because it's not Freddy Krueger. Like, oh,
it's not cool enough.
Yeah, and I think that's what's happening here. This is a video game movie that you're going to be one of two camps. Either you don't know what the hell this is and you're going to hate it, or you're going to say it reminds you of every other animatronic movie that's out there. And fine, I mean they are all similar. Or you're going to be so deep in the lore, you're going to be pissed that something wasn't done 100% perfectly, that the bite of '83 wasn't portrayed well enough or something.
Yeah, they're gonna change it. Well, I mean, it already kind of is a little bit changed from what the trailers are giving us, right? You have William Afton's character interviewing Michael, which is supposed to be his son, and they just don't even know who each other are. So, I think it has to be changed, but I'm considering that this will have to be the real canonized story of what Scott wants to tell people, because this has been the one, he's really put a lot of his effort into understanding and how we're going to get this across.
Yeah, so 100%. This man doesn't play it, and that's where I have such respect for Scott. Because I remember when we first approached him with the Creative Conquest idea. He was straight up. He's like, no, I don't give my story to anybody. No one touches anything. No one changes anything. And it took weeks, Chris, to convince this man just to have a phone call so we could pitch an idea and say, we will give you the idea. You rip it apart if you need to rip it apart, and you put in what you will approve and what you won't approve. And man, it was some effort. It really was.
Nice. Mark, what is up in the comment section? Good to see you, my guy. Mark from the Chew and Ooh podcast in the house in the comment section. Thank you for jumping in. Right now, we are currently talking about Five Nights at Freddy's, which is a video game series coming out on film. We're talking about the situation with the embargo. The embargo is releasing or being lifted the day of the release of the film, which is making a lot of reviewers are complaining about this. A lot of the ones that, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, and it is something that we're seeing a whole lot in every aspect of the entertainment business. We're seeing a lot more opinions than anybody actually doing anything. Oh, I don't like the fact that I'm embargoed till this time or whatever. Okay, well, fine. We'll start working on your press teases, talking about, hey, this review's coming up. We were able to see it early. Don't miss it. Promote your work instead of, hey, crapping on something before everybody else can enjoy it.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. I literally saw another YouTube guy, really big in the movie review world, complaining that he didn't get that he's not giving the opportunity for the embargo to lift earlier than that, and he's like, oh well, you know what that means? That means the studio doesn't think it's gonna be good, it's gonna be bad, and they're already kind of anticipating. And in my opinion, I'm like, nah, man, it's just that they probably know that you guys want to jump on this shit and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, you're going to say that this movie sucks because it's a kid's game or whatever. And it's like, no, like some of us, the fans, the ones that actually know the lore, we're excited to see this come to life, and we're expecting Easter eggs. We're expecting, the coffin treatment where he's going to come out and just put like so many layers and layers and layers into all these characters, and even give us answers to what the video games give us. You know what I mean? Even give us answers that we're going to be like, yo, that answers a question that we had for Five Nights 2 or a Sister's Location or Security Breach or Ruin. Like, we're expecting those type of like Easter eggs. And this guy's going to complain that he doesn't get the embargo situation because he thinks the movie's going to suck. And it's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I was like, bro, chill your privilege out. Not all of us get the opportunity to get red carpets in the first place. Like, some of us still have to go day of release. Like, chill. Like, let us enjoy it without media telling us what we need to enjoy.
Yeah, and that's what it is right now. I mean, I understand. They're making their money off the shock value. They want to tell people that it's going to suck and I hate it because people are going to get angry with them. I mean, outrage clicks are still clicks and views.
True.
But, it's let people enjoy things, man. Like, I get it. You don't like everything. Okay, fine, whatever. But if you're going to love it, you're like, a movie that's critically panned, that everybody hates, but I enjoyed The Meg too. It's a kaiju movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bad movie, 100%. The lines are corny. Yeah, but it's a kaiju movie. If that had been, Mega Shark from Sci-Fi, it'd have been the best damn sci-fi movie out there ever.
Mm-hmm.
But, I enjoyed it. I understand everybody hates it. But that's where we're at with Five Nights at Freddy. The embargo, in my opinion, is to keep people from crapping on everybody else's enjoyment. They want to prevent people from yucking somebody's yum, in essence.
True that. Mark's got his ticket. Guys, do you have your ticket for Five Nights at Freddy's? Let us know in the comment section. I'm excited. I'm getting mine this coming
Mark's going to
week.
end up at Chuck E. Cheese and never see that rat ever again. Yeah.
No, and that's because, what's even crazier is right now, the FNAF fan base, like the really cringy little kids, the Rick and Morty style, are attacking or like protesting against Chuck E. Cheese because Chuck E. Cheese is having a Five Nights of Fun event. And it's something that they've done every year, though. So it's really crazy because they were going around and leaving like pictures, like printed pictures of like Five Nights at Freddy's stuff, like all over the Chuck E. Cheese establishment. It ended up becoming so big that the CEO of Chuck E. Cheese had to make a tweet about people talking about it. And they're like, yo, we have our ticket and we're just excited to see FNAF also. But don't forget, we also have a Five Nights of Fun that we've done every year. And we also have the original purple guy. And they brought out like this weird purple, like I think they call him the Mr. Munchie. Yeah. Mr. Munchie, the original purple guy. And everyone was like on end being like, no, Afton's the original purple man. What the fuck? And kids were just going crazy, dude. Just fun banter I'm feeling between the fans. And then, of course, like, I would say as an animatronics company, like Chuck E. Cheese should kind of be establishing itself in this process too, like PR wise, because I think personally this is going to be a banger of a film. Yeah. I think people are going to go out. This is going to be a really weird shot because a bunch of kids are going to go watch it and it's going to blow the market open for this type of format.
Oh man, the merchandising. Talking about merchandising,
you already know it, man. You already know it.
Makes so much damn money. And shout out to, I I'm not sure if you're familiar with Paw Patrol and the lore.
Oh, dude, yeah. They
Patrol.
just did a superhero one, right?
Yeah, so my son is a huge Paw Patrol fan, has been all his damn life a Paw Patrol fan. I get him the new cars and stuff every Christmas. So on my birthday, I went to take him to go see the Paw Patrol Mighty Pups, the movie, right? And it's the second version of the superhero film they've done, because we own the first one they did on Nickelodeon. But I got to give it to Paw Patrol and Nickelodeon and their self-awareness, the meta of everything, because they say, well, how are we going to afford a new tower? How are we going to afford these new ships and these new cars? And Ryder, the little boy that's in charge of all the Paw Patrol, pulls out new merchandise, and he pulls out a T-shirt and shows it to the camera. He's like, sorry, parents. I was like, man, son of a bitch.
That's real a Deadpool in the comic book series, remember?
Yeah, 100%.
You remember that in the comics?
Yeah, but that's the second film that they've done it in and all that jazz. And I appreciate the meta of it all. And that's what we're going to see here with FNAF. FNAF is going to come out, like we're saying, it's going to be a great film for what it is. It's a video game movie. It's for the fans. It has some heavy power behind it. Matthew Lillard is not an actor to play with.
No, dude.
If he's going to be a shit movie, he wouldn't be in the movie.
I was just talking about 13 Ghosts, right?
Oh,
a couple of days ago. That is so good. That guy, what's his name? The what you just said it right now. I can't even remember his name. I think of William Afton, but Matthew Lillard. Yeah. Such a charming villain. Like every time he plays a sinister character, you love him. Like you love him in that character role. Like it always reminds me of Scream.
If you're not a real horror fan, I mean, I don't want to say real horror because I feel like I'm gatekeeping, but people forget that Matthew Lillard is a staple character in Scream. That he's the reason that storyline is the way it is. And yes, Mark, Poodle Paw Patrol for life. At this point, I'm so fucking invested in Paw Patrol. I own so many of those toys via my son. That is ridiculous.
That's funny.
But Matthew Lillard, he carries franchises and he knows what he's doing. I mean, from the horror franchises like the classics with 13 Ghosts and Scream to his horror comedy stuff with Scooby-Doo, he makes quality films. He knows what he's choosing. He doesn't have to go out there and do a crap film for money. The guy's banking. He even has a D&D company that's outpacing and outselling Wizards of the Coast sales at this point.
Nice. Very, very cool. What a spectacular thing it would be if they ended up doing a Netflix 13 Ghost series.
If they did that, I would want an origin series of the 13 Ghosts.
Yep.
I wouldn't want a sequel or a remake. I would just want the origin stories of each individual ghost to show me how they got there. Because we got a little bit of it in the movie. Mm-hmm. And, of course, if you go on YouTube, you can find people covering all the histories and origins. But, I mean, if we could get, like, the Juggernaut's full story or the Jackal's full story, that'd be great.
Yep. The Jackal would be so cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I love the Jackal. I like the Juggernaut.
Horrifying. To this day, it freaks me out.
All the characters are so amazing. Like that. Like, okay, 13 Ghosts. Great story. Really weird CG at the end. But, like, how did this guy... I mean, we knew he was a millionaire, right? The main the father figure, right? He was a millionaire. He got people together to build this house of glass with a bunch of ruins on it. Like, where did those ruins come from? Like, we understand that this guy was able to acquire these ghosts, but who caught the Jackal from like the 14 or 1600s? Like that, someone had to have been doing the research back then.
Yeah,
to capture it.
A Ghostbusters-esque, like, Ghost Hunters show would be amazing. The research team that he put together, the assault teams put together to have to go set up these ghost traps and draw them in. How many people died having to get these
like we know this guy was a millionaire, but how did he get all of those soldiers to agree to go fight the Juggernaut?
Well, in
that one scene.
I always go back, and it's when people ask me, Michael, how do you get people to do things when you need them to do things? There's a quote from the cartoon Gargoyles that I love. It says, if you pay a man enough, he will walk barefoot through hell.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and that's the point of this. If you offer someone enough money, they'll do damn near anything. And that's what I think you see, I mean, back then $1 million was a lot more than it's considered now.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
you'd have to be a
Definitely.
billionaire now to do that kind of
Just to be able to do that. Yeah. Juan, what is up? Good to see you, man. Hope you and your boy are doing good in the boxing world. Matthew Lillard, he says he loved Matthew Lillard in Hackers.
Oh, Hackers.
Straight up, that was a good call. I liked him in SLC Punk. That was like one of my favorite and one of my like, damn, I'll die on that pillar. That movie is by far one of the most Shakespearean movies I've ever seen in my life. And of course, my favorite line for Matthew Lillard would have to be, "I think you went too deep." When he gets stabbed and screamed. Yeah, I was like, I fucking love that dude. He's so funny as hell. No, what's up, Rob? Biggie, my dude, in the comment section. Good to see you, my man. Good to have you back on the show in the comments. I have not gotten my ticket yet. We are still planning on what hour we're going to be watching it at. I do not want to see it at 2 p.m., you crazy guy. I think he got his ticket for 2 p.m. And he says the uncle with the pods did have some kind of spells. But that's the thing. Like, where did those spells come from? Where's the rich history? Someone had to have known these people, how they died over the years. And I know he had money for it and did research, but like in one man's lifetime, there's no way you get that much research time done. That was a lot of stuff. And then to be able to like build a house of that quality with that type of mechanic and then get this whole like they had like a weird like spherical like the engine that had going on like, and then he even had to plan for his wife to get cancer and die. Like, that's just not no easy, like, that's not low, like, that's not an easy cast, right? Like, oh, okay, cool, I'm going to marry this lady, have 3 kids, and make sure she gets cancer later, and then joins my fucking weird seance or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there was a little bit of weirdness to the story, but, like, for them to be able to give us maybe, like, 14 episodes, 14 being that it would be 1 extra from the 13 Ghosts, but in the process, each episode has a modern time of like the Matthew Lillard character and the Sarah Elizabeth character or whatever her name was, the chick that was in the film. Their character modernized, of course, with new actors because they're probably already outaged it, but maybe have them as the elder, like the married couple or whatnot. That would be cool to have them, or at least be the cops, or I don't know, something that at least gives the Adam family caretaking of all the characters from all the old school Addams Family movie, right, from the Wednesday show. Yeah,
and I think it would be good if it was all told as a memory or a last will and testament kind of a deal.
Yeah, like, or even like maybe investigative, like they're investigating all the ghosts.
Or hear me out. They're ghosts now. They're stuck in the house themselves. And they're passing the knowledge of what that house is on to the next person.
To the next cast, right? Ooh,
yeah.
I like it, man. I like it. Robert says, so he probably used some kind of black magic book, but I would love to see that take. Juan says people can cast spells for people to get cancer. I don't I mean, I get when they give you like the brujeria to be like, oh man, someone gave me the heebie-jeebies. Now I got bad luck. I can't buy lottery tickets or I stubbed my toe. But I think cancer is a little too much for witchcraft, man. That's a big take, man. Mark says waiting for the 2nd season of Wednesday. True that. It's a great first season. And Robert says Shannon Elizabeth, how could we forget? God bless her. American Pie, and her lady parts that came out. All right,
talking about bad. Oh, not
Shannon Elizabeth.
Cringy memories. With your parents. My mom and I, when I was in high school and I started working, we would go out to see a movie together, right? As father, mother, and son time. So I heard that there was this family movie coming out. It was a good comedy, American Pie. I was like, fuck it, I'll buy the tickets for this and we'll go see this. I went and sat through American Pie with my mom, and dude, that was possibly the worst fucking movie to take.
Oh man, that's probably the worst choice ever. No, that's funny though. That's fucking funny. What'd your mom say? Did she say anything? Did she make a comment? She had to have made a comment, right?
My mom is all of 5'4", super foul mouth, crazy woman. And she gave me so much shit for the rest of my life. She actually, to promote safe sex for me, used to shout before every date I would go on or before we'd leave every football game or whatever for me to have fun and to tarp it up. Which would in essence embarrass the girl I was with. So there was no way I was having sex. It wasn't going to happen because they all knew that I had to tarp it up. And to this day, my friends still give me hell about it.
Tarp it up.
I'm walking around with my wife, and they tell me to tarp it up. It's like, I don't have to anymore.
That's going to be a shirt. I'm going to have to make that into a shirt.
Yeah, I figured I'll go on my tombstone when I die.
Tarp it up, dude.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's rough. That is funny though. My favorite Shannon Elizabeth part was Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Say something silly and cute and all the boo boo kitty fuck.
Yeah.
All right. That's a start. Yeah, I love. That's probably like one of my greatest scenes. So yeah, Mike, I 100% agree with you. The embargo being released on this date, a lot of people are complaining that are YouTube people who are used to getting this kind of treatment, but I think it's good for Scott to and the company and the studio itself to not really allow people to come out and give their type of opinion to kind of course people into either watching it or not watching it. I think he wants people to have their own opinion, to go and enjoy it on their own, and then by all means, go speak your mind or whatever.
Blumhouse has been, dropping horrible movies. Blumhouse has been giving us some pretty solid stuff. They obviously have a love and a care for this type of movie. I don't know if you've seen the trailer for their Thanksgiving horror movie. I'm down for that.
Giving or something?
Yeah, I think it's just Thanksgiving at this point.
Yeah, Thanksgiving or something. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. But that's what you expect, like Cocaine Bear and all this other shit. You're not gonna go off and tell me that Cocaine Bear is gonna top, Five Nights at Freddy's. It's a silly movie, but people still clamor at it because the Barbenheimer and all these trends, because it gives people the opportunity to promote themselves on their own social media and say they did it. But the thing is like I've said before, and like you said it also, and Mark in the comment section, Five Nights at Freddy's is backed by the fact that it's a multi-million-dollar shit. I would say it's $1 billion video game franchise that surprised the shit out of everybody when it first dropped and becoming so popular so fast. I'm excited to watch it. Cannot wait. Super excited. Mike, since you're here, good calling that you're here. I must ask you, speaking on the fact that people give their own opinions on things and all that mumbo jumbo we were talking about a little while ago, I must ask you, there was a large negative response for the finale for Ahsoka, but even here on the show, we talked about it and we tried our hardest to not completely shit on it. It's good that you're here, because now that we saw the series complete and everything like that, I want to know your take on the final episode and how it all turned out. And you're always like the unicorn in this, because you always find like the positive nature in the most negative situation. And across the board, people complained about Ahsoka. I think you probably saw it across media,
100%,
left and right. But I want to know your take on the Ahsoka finale. I want to hear your pros and your cons and what you're excited for. And if you're not excited, I want to know. I want to know where we're laying here. And of course, departure of Ray Stevens is going to be kind of rough. And what do you think they should do with his character? Of course, they're not going to just cancel him or cut it out. They're probably more than likely going to recast. And who do you think it should be?
Alrighty, so
there's a lot, man. That's a lot of shit I just talked about.
I will start off with the acknowledgement that everybody being pissed off. Again, everybody that is out there that has the same damn Star Wars opinion on every Star Wars that comes out hated it because, I don't know, Darth Vader didn't jerk them off at this point. I don't know what they want anymore. Did I enjoy it? I did. Am I sad I didn't get more? Yes. I wanted more, and I am annoyed to all hell. I'm going to have to wait to, at minimum, 2026 to get anything.
It sucks that it's going to be that long.
Yeah, it's shit. It's going to be forever. Forever. Am I okay with the ending? Yes. And here's my take on it. So the ending for Ahsoka wasn't an ending for the general Star Wars fan. It wasn't for the fan that only watches the movies. It wasn't for the fan that maybe saw Rogue One, maybe saw Andor and just didn't really understand it. This is for somebody that went through the entirety of Rebels and caught the little send-offs for us. Saw the statue of the father and the son, and then the daughter being crumbled and destroyed, and the pointing of the light and the distance and what that could potentially mean. That saw the owl and knew that is a creature of the Force, and is a connective figure for Ahsoka, and someone that we saw in Rebels.
True.
You know, there's all these little takeaways, and especially for me, you know, we got an ending with Anakin. You know, we got something that Ahsoka had lost when she left Rebels, and it was so poetic for me, because at the end of Clone Wars, you know, Ahsoka walks away from Anakin and he watches her walk away, and it's heartbreaking. She leaves the Jedi Order in that manner. She's just turns her back on him and walks away.
Yeah.
And here you see Rosario Dawson doing an amazing job, you know, portraying Ahsoka with the mannerisms and the way she moves, and just everything that she did was spectacular. Looking at Hayden Christensen and giving us that reconnection that we needed, as well as a farewell to what came before and a hello to something new. And that's where I was happy with it, because it closed the book for me.
Okay.
That watching the series, it was bumpy, to say the least. And I could hear Brian probably giving me hell right now if he was here, as he normally would. Yeah, but you know, like you say, I find the positive here, and for me, the positive was the closing of a chapter. You know, now we have Ezra back, and Hera saw him. Would I have liked Jason to see him? I've seen him and had a big brother, little brother kind of moment, 100%. But that means now I'm going to get a new series down the road, or a movie where he's going to be able to give Jace a father figure that Kanan couldn't, because he's going to be able to say, you know what, your father taught me this way, and I'm going to impart this knowledge to you the way your father imparted it to me. Yeah. And that's all new steps and new directions, and that's what I'm excited about. You know, shout out to Ray Stevenson, and you know, may he rest, because he left us with one hell of a portrayal of a character.
That was so fucking good. Balin was such a great fucking addition to the whole Star Wars lore.
Yeah, and mind you, I mean, for my 6 foot tall, bearded, graying in the hair ass, I am 100% excited that I eventually someday I'm going to cosplay this man.
Yeah, you got to do it, man.
I can pull that off. I mean, maybe not the musculature, but I definitely got the shoulders. So you know,
yeah, you want me to cosplay Shin? I got white hair.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you put on the tight little outfit maybe, but you know, those are all things that we got to see here. We got closure. We got the Night Sisters that are back. You know, we got an entire setup now in live action for zombie stormtroopers. The Death Troopers exist in main canon now. You know, and that's what they brought back. They brought caskets and coffins. They brought tombs home. You know, we're going to see a Thrawn now that's not only empowered by the remnants of the Empire and those that want to participate with him. We're going to see the undead supporting him. We're going to see dark magic that is not Jedi or Sith. It is something else.
Yeah, something different. Yeah, it's the mother or the daughters or whatever, the mothers.
Yeah, and that's what I got out of this. It's an excitement. It's excitement for something new. Because I think that's been my main complaint this entire time with Star Wars. And I repeat myself every single time that I watch these new movies and I watch these new shows, not as a Star Wars fan, but as a father of a new Star Wars fan. You know, I watch these shows via my son, you know, and that's, you know, I'll go back to Paw Patrol. Paw Patrol is a great example. So people crap on this cartoon, right? You know, how does the Paw Patrol afford these things? And they have all these whatever, you know, whatever, all these mainstream jokes with it. But I don't care about what's on the screen. What I'm watching is my son's reaction to it, the wonder, the joy, the excitement, and you know, my son experiencing an X-Wing fly for the first time, him seeing a Jedi, you know, turn on their saber and go into battle, you know, him worried that, you know, R2's not going to make it, or Chopper is going to do something bad, or, you know, the inside joke that Joshua and I have now where Chopper his words aren't on screen because he's cussing so much.
Yeah, he's cussing all the time. That's like R2-D2. I would tell everybody R2-D2 was cussing all the time.
Yeah,
but Chopper's like a psychopath. He's
100%. Like, he has the highest kill counts.
People.
Yeah, in Star Wars. You've seen the numbers, right? He destroyed.
Yeah, he's no. I used to watch Rebels. He murders motherfuckers, man.
Yeah,
like he's about that life, dude. It's not the Death Star they should have created. Just could have created 2 more choppers, and they could have just the Empire would have fucked everybody up, dude.
Ended entire universes.
Yeah, they could have got him and Baba, or what's that one little engineer guy? They just need those 2 guys. They didn't even conquer the whole goddamn planet. That would have been nuts, man.
Yeah, no, but that's where I am with Ahsoka. You know, it's it was a close, and it's going to open up new, and that's all we have, nothing but new, and I think that's what we need now. You know, as Star Wars fans, we need to understand that the toxicity we have is just killing ourselves. We cannot replicate the past. We're not going to rewrite what came before. They're not going to erase the new trilogy. We got what we got. And now Filoni at the wheel is going to give us the opportunity to work within that framework and give us something we can appreciate.
But the thing is like that's validated too, the people that are upset. I really, really believe that. And the reason why is because they're doing something very grand with the way they did Ahsoka. I'm really, really proud with the way this series came out. Yeah, it was kind of a shit ending. In my opinion, I thought it was kind of lackluster in what they could and couldn't do. I think it was just Filoni not giving too much because it would give too much for the movie he wants to create, right? Because we're looking at the movie coming out like maybe in the next 2 years. That's what he was planning. So maybe the Ahsoka series is either going to go right into this, or we're going to get one more series in the next couple of maybe like year right before the release of the film. But you know, and I give props to Brian all the time because he said one of the coolest thing is like, they're running out of time to be able to keep adding shit to this story because it doesn't make sense with the continuity of the other films. Like your son, yes, becoming a new fan of the series, you know, sooner or later he'll get a little bit older and want to dabble into the origins of the movies that made him so popular. He's going to want to say like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to go and watch Dad's favorite Star Wars. And then he's going to watch it and be like, holy shit, this is really good. What the fuck did we do? We messed up. You know what I mean? Or this series, or, I mean, of course, the sequels are the ones that kind of, in my opinion, kind of ruined the continuity for the series on the Kylo Ren and the Luke Skywalker and all that stuff. Yo, what's up, Ham? Good to see you in the comment section. Hope your event went well tonight. They were doing another fighters night over there.
I know every time Ham does these events, I'm on the road and it drives me nuts.
It's the same thing. I'm always on the podcast. I can never watch them or go and but shout out, dude. He always gets some badass stuff. Of course, it's bumping. Everybody's just DDR and naked and shit.
Yeah, and it's DDR. Ham alone that's being naked on the DDR.
Bumping, man. It's good to see you, my man. Good to see you.
Yeah, that's because Ham, I need to talk to you. I have been watching a lot of King of Fighters videos lately, and I want to get back into it. So I need to know what King of Fighters to start playing.
Yeah, King of Fighters, my man, Mr. Karate, dude. I'm a big fan of SNK. But I don't want to get off subject. Ham, don't be taking us into video game talk. We did that already. Actually, Ham, if you want to leave a comment, let me know what you think about the Microsoft acquisition of Activision. Let me know what's out. We were talking about that earlier. I talked about that earlier. But yeah, I think the sequels are the kind of like the stain on the series. And like right now, Dave Filoni's coming back. He's bringing back all these characters that were pretty prominent in the animated series, you know, during that time. That I'm going to openly admit this to say that not a lot of people that weren't nerds of Star Wars took the time to actually watch.
Right.
A lot of people would have been like, nah, I didn't watch that shit. But they're going to be like, fuck yeah, Ahsoka's the best. And oh, man. And it's like they weren't there when Dave Filoni pulled out the Ahsoka Lives shirt, you know, at D23 or wherever the fuck. I think it was like at one of the Star Wars celebrations. He walks up and just opens his shirt. Ahsoka Lives. This was after the Anakin or the Darth Vader fight scene and all this stuff. And it blew our minds of that time. I remember that shit like it was crazy. Or even the scene when Ahsoka leaves her blades behind and Vader finds the blades buried with the stormtrooper helmets. Yep. Like all of those scenes were so memorable, so memorable. But
see, and that's why, again, I hate to cut you off, but that's why I think Ahsoka ended properly. It didn't end great, but it ended properly, allowed us to close the book. And what I'm so excited about with this is, I understand what Brian said, that they're running out of time. But what Filoni did masterfully was show us another part of the galaxy that the main storyline isn't touching. And we need to realize that it's a big-ass galaxy. There's outer rims and things further than that the Empire doesn't touch, the Empire's not a part of. I was going to see things.
Yeah, I was going to be like, they never do well at explaining how big this place is because no matter what, these motherfuckers always land where they need to land in a giant fucking planet. Like they never land like, whoops, missed it by a couple cities, got to, you know, go on a journey. These motherfuckers always, like, even with the situation with when Ahsoka shows up when in episode 3 when they're doing all that witch shit on that thing with the I don't even know what to call it when they pull the globe out and they set it up and it shows where the outer rims are or whatever. Like they just come up in the base and they're just like, oh, let me go take it, 100 yards, you know what I mean? Or even, dude, even the Ezra shit where like 10 years have passed and Thrawn's like, oh, go ahead, fucking Sabine, go find that dirty motherfucker. Like, good luck. I've been looking at him for 10. And she goes like 5 yards and he's like there with a bunch of turtle people that there's no one else on this planet. Like, they do not do well at explaining how big these galaxies are when they just run into everybody.
Oh, 100%. But I think now we have the opportunity to see this, especially with the games, expanding on the universe stuff. We are seeing what I'm anticipating as a plan for Filoni to let us get accustomed to the idea that we're not all ass deep in the Empire, that there are other things out there that we can enjoy and see, and we have the potential to be a part of them.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good shit. That's good shit. What are your theories, man? What's the Balin idea? What's the Shin idea? What do you think's gonna happen, man? And what's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? What do you think, man? What do you think is Thrawn, the silly strategic guy that's like, I didn't lose, they lost. What do you think, man? What do you think?
Honestly, for Balin, he needs to be recast. That character is too good. And I actually got a buddy of mine, Bobby Creasy, one of the owners for Creasy's Bowling Alley Harlingen. So guys, stop by there if you're ever in the area. It's a great place. He recommended Liev Schreiber, the guy that was Sabretooth, as Balin. And I hadn't considered him, but he has the intensity. He has the physical stature. I think I could see it. I mean, he has the acting chops, definitely.
Let me say Lee Schreiber.
It's Liev, I think Liev Schreiber. I can't pronounce his name correctly.
Liedlie. I don't know how to spell Schreiber. Fuck it. Nope, didn't spell it right. I'm dumb.
Yeah. Look at Sabretooth from Wolverine. It should come out.
Is he a wrestler?
I don't think he's a wrestler. The first Sabretooth from X-Men was a wrestler.
Oh, you know what? Okay. The brother, the one that plays kind of like the brother of Wolverine in the Origins film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly. Oh, yeah, dude, he was a horror guy too, wasn't he? Didn't he come out in Scream or I want to say he came out in one of those films.
Something like that. But no, he's been in a lot of films. He just did a Showtime series. I can't think of it. He was a fixer. What the heck was that series called?
Fixer. Yeah, that's right. The Fixer. Yeah, Liev Schreiber. Yeah, he was in Salt, Hard Knocks, Scream 2. He was in Scream 2. Yep. Yeah, he was in Scream 2. I knew he was in Scream. I knew there was a movie. But yeah, we are talking about this gentleman. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Boom shakalaka. Yeah, Lee Schreiber. That is a good call, man.
Yeah, and I hadn't thought about it at all until Bobby mentioned it, and he has the physical power and he has the acting chops. He does great with all his roles, and I could really see him carrying that character forward in Ray Stevenson's place. I mean, obviously, we're not going to get the exact same type of portrayal, but that character it's too much gold to let him go. I mean,
way too.
Yeah, I cannot let go of the line that Stevenson just gave us that was solid for everything. And it's like, do you miss the Jedi Order? He said, I miss the idea of it. And it's just that entire exchange he has with Shin Hati is, man, great. So I would like us to get accustomed to Liev taking over as an animated version first, so we hear the voice and get used to the voice of being that character, and then have him portray something live action afterwards. Because
there was another gentleman. We were just talking about this for the recasting set for Ray Stevenson, right? And there was a show that was about millionaires that they used to show back in the day, and one of the guys on the show was Angel TV show, right? It was the Sun, right?
Okay.
TV show. I'm gonna go cast. Fuck, this is gonna take me a minute. Well, he came out. The Sun came out in a show that was about a bunch of lawyers or entrepreneurs or something like that back in the day, and it was like I don't want to say like Nip Tuck or something.
Like Suits or something.
Suit, maybe it was Suits, right? Connor Angel. Let me see. Let me get this guy's name real quick. By Vincent Crazier, Mad Men.
Okay.
One of the guys from the Mad Men series.
I honestly did not watch Mad Men.
John Hamm.
John Hamm?
I think John Hamm. Let me show you a picture of him real quick, just so you understand who I'm talking about. I think he would be a good recast.
And you see, I don't know. I can't take John Hamm serious in a role like that. This is because I'm so used to his comedy work, and especially with him portraying the Archangel Gabriel in Good Omens right now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're not lying. I'll tell you that much. But I think this guy has a pretty good face to kind of like match like Ray Stevenson's, but then again, so does the other guy.
Yeah. I mean, just for me, I see John Hamm more as comedic.
Like a comedic guy, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, Liev Schreiber could probably do comedy as well. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, to me,
John Hamm is a big guy. He does have the square jaw and the face. He put some facial hair on him. I could see it possibly.
He's got that like kind of like Superman-ish old school look, right?
Yeah, I mean the classic Hollywood dude look, the square jaw and all that jazz. He's pretty.
Yeah, I think that's who I chose last week. We were talking about it last week too, about the recasting for Ray Stevenson's character, which I think is the best process. So where do you think we go from here, man? What about Shin's character? What do you think is going to happen with her?
I honestly think Shin is either going to introduce the idea of being a fallen Jedi and turn into some type of Night Sister, or she's going to end up being totally changed and join the light side of the Force.
Okay, cool. I think she's going to be a conduit for Aboleth.
Possibly.
Yeah, I think she's going to be the person that kind of like they're going to
Negan from Walking Dead as Balin.
Oh, Negan from Walking Dead. Okay. You're talking about what's his name? What's Negan's name? God, I just know him as
Jeffrey
John
Dean
Winchester.
Morgan.
That's my problem. I know him as John Winchester.
Yeah, it's Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Not to be mistaken with Billy D. Morgan. That's funny. That's why I was giving. But yeah, Negan would be pretty cool. I don't know, man, but he's kind of flaco, isn't he?
Well, no, he can put on muscle. We saw him in Rampage. He was a bigger version of himself there. And then in the movie Losers, he'd put on some solid muscle.
The Losers is such a good movie. My favorite part's the Chris Evans. The
magic fingers. Yeah.
Fucking great, dude. Yeah, Negan would be a pretty cool character. I never considered this in the Star Wars lore because of the legacy of the Aboleth character, but I believe that she was the mother in the fourth character. It was the father, the son, the daughter, and the mother, and she was the outcasted mother.
Oh, yeah, and if I remember correctly, her power that she obtained was her trying to match the father and the children as a mother. I can't remember if it was a well that she took the force from and bathed in the source of the dark side. I can't remember the exact word off the top of my head, but I know that's how she basically poisoned herself. She tried to absorb both sides and became something more and something horrifying.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty fucking cool. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. So, what do you think is in the box? The coffins, or the boxes that are? You think it's a bunch of like strawberries or vegetables from?
I think it's the dead of Dathomir. I think it's a bunch of the Night Sisters people. And if we remember, and this is expanded universe and animated series lore, but they can create those wells of that green energy and resurrect their kind. So I think that's what we're going to see. They're going to build their normal tower thing. They're going to build these pools of this basic Lazarus pits is what we're looking at, and resurrect their people. Because now.
Would it be very similar to the necromancers from Chronicles of Riddick?
Kind of yes and kind of no, because the necromancers in Chronicles of Riddick, if I remember correctly, were bastardized when they came back. Something was wrong with them. The people from Dathomir, the Night Witches, Night Sister Star can bring you back, but bring you back. Like you can come back, or have your soul possess a body, which you saw with Merrick when he was killed.
How did you feel about the Death Troopers? I think they were used a day late in a book short.
You know, it
didn't hit me as hard in episode 8 rather than it would have in 7, I think.
I think if we wanted to stick the landing as this would being a 100% horror ending, yeah, we should have gotten them an episode earlier, and there should have been way more zombie stuff going on. But to stick with, we are closing the books, but leaving you with enough tease to expect this later. Yeah, I think it was okay.
It was really, really weird, man, because like you said, I kind of wished they stuck the landing with the acting like zombies. Because there was one part where they were getting up and they were all like, and all this shit. And then the next scene, they're just like running normal and getting shot when they're on top of the tower, like just dying normal. Like, did you remember? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, 100%. And I think the problem is, and this is Star Wars nerd shit, but if you watched enough of the Night Sister stuff, you begin to understand that the Death Troopers, these zombies, start off in 2 different ways. The first, they get up and they are slow and they are dead, and eventually they get enough faculty back to be what they used to be. And that's why we saw the 2 bigger ones that were fighting Sabine and Ahsoka at the end, that they're lifting them up and slamming them against the walls and stuff, because they have enough faculty to know that they are beyond what they should be. So they can fight harder, they can be stronger, and eventually get. That's why you saw them there. I mean, cutting the doors with lasers and stuff, because eventually they are smart enough. They know they're dead, and that's why they choose and volunteer to be it.
Because that's literally was going to be my next question. I was very confused that it's like, okay, cool. Like if they're zombies and they were brought to life by the sisters, that's like a control mechanism. Like, okay, cool. Like there's a master and a puppet. Why do you have volunteers? Just make the fuckers go. Like, just go send 8 of them. They're not going back to the fucking barracks later and being like, man, that was a rough day today, wasn't it, Paul, or whatever. Like, they're just zombies.
You see, Merrick is why I got so excited when Merrick died, and you see the soul leave the body, because that's precedent in the live action series that shows you that at some point you stop being a regular zombie. And you become the undead. You become more than what you were before. Yeah, eventually you get to a point to where you had to have volunteered for this, because you had to know.
They have their own constitution. They have their own, the free will almost.
Their own conscience. And sadly, it's true. They don't have 100% free will, because the great mothers can banish them back. They can cut them off if needed. Yeah. But you had to have volunteered knowing that I am both dead and undead. I am neither. You're in this weird middle ground that you become.
Well, I mean, that's very cool. Like I didn't really consider it that way, but that's a really cool way to kind of like to break it down and to try to understand. It kind of makes it a little bit more fun that it's not just taking the regular zombie format for like a horror thing. It's kind of like, well, they're zombie-esque, but imagine it being like those movies like what is it, Hocus Pocus, like the boyfriend that comes back that can that can have he can still move around and do his own thing or whatever. All right, okay, I'm about that.
Yeah, because Hocus Pocus is a great example of literally what they're becoming. I mean,
that's why I was like, all right, cool.
Perfect example. Because he 100% is cognizant. He knows what he's doing. He hates the fact that he's doing it, but he has to. He is impelled to do so because they control him. They own him, and that's why Elizabeth betrayed masterfully by Diana Lee Santo. She makes the point of telling Thrawn that they volunteered to do this because they believe in you. They are doing it for Thrawn, and that's what you're seeing here. That these individuals are going to go die not because they believe in the Empire, not because they believe that I'm going to get a second life coming back, but because they have such a blind love for Thrawn that they damn near worship him, that they're willing to die and resurrect and potentially be somebody's puppet for a time to benefit Thrawn.
Sweet. Next question, easy stuff. We won't stick too far on this. We still got a little bit more to talk about. Expectations for Thrawn, were they good or were they bad?
The expectations for Thrawn were on point for what I needed. Could I have used more? Could I have seen him talk about his strategy more masterfully and stuff, 100%. But you saw what we got in the animated series where Thrawn was like, okay, we're going to dedicate these many units, we're going to dedicate these many ships, we're going to dedicate these many soldiers. And as pieces started falling apart or things started going his way, you saw that he had a game plan overall. It's okay, dedicate two TIE fighters. We lost them. Who cares? In the grand scheme of things, we got everything on board and we can lift off now. And these are calculated losses. And that's the way Thrawn was the entire series. He could care less if he lost a thing here or lost a unit there or lost one battle, because in the long run, he was going to win.
Excellent work. Good. I wanted to find this really quick just so people can check it out. So overall, your take on the series?
Overall, my take on the series is it's not for the non-Star Wars nerd. And that's the way I'm going to have to explain this to everybody and their mother who did not watch Rebels, that didn't know anything about Clone Wars going into this. This was Filoni giving us a little love letter, especially showing us, the live action Clone Wars battles, watching Ahsoka go through another lesson with Anakin, even though she turned her back on him and the Jedi Order. She got her closure, and that's what we were given here. So when it ended with, the Force owl in the distance, there's the connection to the father and, the daughter and all that jazz. It provided the Star Wars nerd like myself who watched every damn thing there is to be okay with an ending. So if you're not a massive Star Wars nerd, you're going to be a little pissed. It wasn't flashy enough. The ending left you with what the hell? I got to wait 2-3 years to get something next. And 100% I get it.
I think like Juan said earlier, you're kind of wanting to expect that whole like a Jedi movie where like people can just come and swing shit, and there's a little bit more to these. Rating? What'd you rate the series?
For me, because I got left wanting more, I'm going to give it an 8.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, I think we were going 7.5. I think me and Brian were I think Brian was a little bit less. I think he was at a 7. I was at a 7.5. I was like, oh, you know what? Like, even though this didn't play out well live action, I think this was a very good Rebels series. Like based more on the cartoon. It kind of played off more like the cartoon. It didn't come through in live action fairly well, but it was enough. To all our watchers out there, if you are book readers, don't forget that more than likely this series is going to end up following Heir to the Empire, Dark Force Rising, and The Last Command. There are recent books that came out. Timothy Zahn is the writer. You guys check them out. It's a Thrawn series. More than likely, Dave Filoni is going to loosely use this series. It's a 6-book series. These are the latest 3. These are the last 3 that came out. Yeah. The other ones were called like Thrawn, Alliances, and Treason, and just Thrawn, like the title. But
because the first 3 give you Thrawn's origins, basically. You go through him gaining his power and getting into place, and seeing him being the sole member of his species,
his people, his
in the Empire for a good time. And he's a scary motherfucker. Like,
you even find out
how horrifying this man is.
His strategies are pretty vulgar and mean. But you end up finding out that he's not really a villain-esque character. He'll just do whatever it takes to make sure that the living quarters of his humanity or his species continue on.
And I think that's something we did miss in the live action series that I love that they did in Rebels. You get to see him be the art collector. You see him that he appreciates how the rebels are fighting, the intelligence of it all, and the respect he has for his enemies, and just how he learn their cultures and stuff. It's wonderful. If you are a reader, or hell, if you're willing for audiobooks, get it on Audible. I highly recommend the books.
You guys make sure you go check them out. Just giving you guys some heads up on that. Speaking of books and the idea of reading into IPs and stuff like that, how have you been going with the Loki series?
Loki, I haven't watched this week's episode yet, but episode 1 was a great start for me.
Okay.
Yeah, and just because I was left at the end of season 1. I mean, spoiler alert at this point, I guess. Mm-hmm. But fuck, if you haven't seen it, get to it. Seeing Kang's statue in the TV, I was like, how in the hell, like, what timeline? Or I didn't understand. But now that we're seeing the time jumps and the time slips, it makes way more sense now.
Yep. So what do you think? Okay, so like, so you haven't seen episode 2. I don't want to get into a recap. We usually try to recap an episode when it comes out. It just came out last night. Same thing with Gen V. I usually try to keep those for like people that are watching them and stuff. Since you haven't seen it, I don't want to jump the gun on you, right? Because I want you to be able. What's up, Brian? Brian D from New Jersey, my boy in the comment section. What is up? Good to see you. I hope you're having a relaxing night. I know you needed it, working super hard with the new job. I super love that you're enjoying it, and yeah, man, enjoy your night off. You don't gotta do nothing crazy, bro. We just got Mike's call on Ahsoka.
You know he showed up because
he showed up right at the end of Ahsoka,
taking up the force, giving Ahsoka love is what he felt.
I was just letting you know. I was letting Mike know he's our unicorn. He finds the positive and the negative, and I told him we tried our best not to shit all over Ahsoka. It even, dude, like me and Brian were talking about. It even got to a point that we realized that we were talking so bad about it that we had been talking bad about episode 7 too the same way, and we just got like super, like, we didn't know what else to say, that we were just like fucking shit, like we got like super tongue twisted. We didn't know what else to kind of like talk about. Like it was not what we expected. But most definitely you got to check out what Mike was saying. He brought some really good comments to it and kind of make me reestablish my ideals in the sense of, like, I mean, I gave it a 7.5. That's going to stick, but just open my eyes to some really interesting things. There you go. Brian says it wasn't too bad on Ahsoka. They just didn't stick the landing, which is kind of like the
consensus. That's
and it's 100% valid. A lot of people believed it. Even people that usually support the just Star Wars IP or Disney IP in general were having trouble. Screen Rant, John Campia, even those guys were having trouble being like, well, fuck, I can't defend this. It's hard. It's really hard on me. And they were having like mental breakdowns and shit. But yeah, they stuck the landing. But it was, like I've said before, I'm stick to my guns and say it was really good as a Clone Wars and Rebels episode. Just live action, it did not appeal it correctly. But we're jumping into the Loki series. Like I said, Mike hasn't been able to see the new episode. I saw it, of course, jumped on it. Same thing with the new episode of Gen V, but we're not going to talk about that. What I want to ask you right now, Mike, super important question. Can Loki save the MCU in its current state?
Right now, Loki is the only thing keeping the MCU afloat.
Is that good or bad? Are you talking like it's still like backpedaling and trying to stay on the skim of water, or are you saying like the MCU's doing okay?
No, I am forever an optimist with everything. Unicorn. But the MCU is not okay. Sadly, it's just not. We've had a lot of really high budget movies coming out. We had a lot of high budget shows that did not stick the landing. And Loki is the only show that kind of stepped away from what the MCU film and the MCU shows had to stick with as a formula and did its own thing. I mean, I cannot express enough how the episode in the end where they're at the end of time and that giant creature's coming up, and we have old man Loki standing there saying, glorious purpose, kind of reset everything for me.
Yeah.
It reminded me that although we have a set formula for the MCU, that you don't have to stick to that to give us a storyline. And that's why I think Loki and films like Werewolf by Night are the direction to go right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Marvel's is going to come out. It's going to make its money. I'm excited for it, for this Marvel thing. I'm going to give Imani some love. But I do think Brian's point in the chat, that we're not going to see MCU kind of get a full reset and do a new thing until Deadpool is kind of the direction we're going with this.
Yeah, because I was going to say, like, the Marvels 2 got some really bad news this past week. It's looking like the opening weekend is only going to make like 50 million to 70 million. And the highest grossing number they're looking at is maybe 120 million to 189 million.
Yeah.
Like it's looking that Marvel is like prepping for them to have a complete fair. Not only that, it's on the point where the actors during the Screen Actors Guild and the actor strike is still going on. In fact, it came to like a complete messy, like no, like just
complete halt.
Fucking walkout, man. And I have my opinions on to why that is. I think it's very much like the sports sports person, accounting and stuff, where actors do get paid fairly well. They get paid pretty well, especially like these actors in these. So they can't come to the table and be like, "Yo, we want more money. We're struggling," and they're making fucking millions. You know what I mean? I don't think they really have a fucking pot to piss in when it comes to that. So they need to make sure that what they're looking out for is the little guy in this situation. But yeah, I 100% think Loki has some really big fucking. It has a big job if it's going to be kind of like I have faith in Tom Hiddleston's acting in the Loki series. I think they take care of it fairly well. The first episode came in banging and it was fun as shit. Kind of made you feel like you were back to watching an actual Marvel movie.
Yeah.
But is it far-fetched? Is it past its prime? Is it at the moment right now that people are like on a dangling thread that they believe that, you know, Marvel is the next DC? Like, is it in the failing process?
You know, honestly, I don't think anything can be the next DC. Shit, Todd McFarlane's going to launch a new Spawn movie, and that's going to kick DC's ass. Jesus Christ. But what I like about Loki and what episode 1 did for season 2 is it gave us a continuity connected show that was disconnected enough to be a story of self-discovery. And we're seeing that as Loki is time hopping everywhere and experiencing people that don't remember him do remember him. And at the same time, we got that little tease of Sylvie learning about herself.
No, we didn't get to talk about that, Brian. We're going to save the strike for. Of course, I only want to talk about that stuff when Brian's here too, because he's like, you know, he likes the business aspect of talking about this stuff.
Yeah, and Brian, you and I are gonna when next time both of us can be on, we need to talk about the subscription numbers, Nielsen ratings, and the fact that Netflix and the streamers are full of shit. Jesus, yeah, we have some numbers to discuss, Brian.
True that. So yeah, we're gonna wait for you, brother. Don't even worry about that. But yeah, like my biggest concern is I don't know if Loki can save what it's at, and it's not his fault. It's not like a sabotage or it's not anything. I think that Loki and Tom Hiddleston, I think they're great at what they do. But I think the current state of Marvel is in a problem systematic situation because we have reached the point in the comic books where people did not like the comic books. And it's right when they did the all new, all different Marvel setup, which was right after Secret Wars. But they're applying that right now because they want to get people prepared to like all of these characters as if they were already initiated into the series. So they won't bring, you know, Chris Evans and Tony Stark and all these people back. They'll have all the younger crowd come in as those characters. The Ironheart, the Captain Marvel, the Sam Wilson, Captain America, all of those characters will be the Avengers team in the Secret Wars after movie. So like when it comes to the reboot and all that stuff, I think they're kind of setting it up with that because like the way they introduced like Skrull, the Hulk son, you know, the way they pushed on Captain Marvel so fast, Monica Rambeau, Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, even in the situation with Miles Morales, who's even more liked, being that he was like a race swapped character back in the day, the Jane Foster Thor character and all of this stuff. All of these characters were at a time in comic books that us as readers were trying to like them, but they weren't giving us enough organic opportunity to really care about these characters. It was more like they were telling us, you have to like them because we're in the time. You have to like them. Right. So like in the films, when like they're talking about Ironheart. Like, first off, okay, Mike, let me ask you, as a comic book lover, Ironheart, where do you put her in the sense of a rating? Just off the whim, and you don't have to like sugarcoat it. I don't want you to sugarcoat it.
With Riri Williams and the idea of what she is, I mean, at most she's a C-level hero. She really doesn't have a backstory that does anything. I mean, I am 100% for inclusion, trying to branch out and create new characters.
True.
But that's not what they did with Ironheart. They just rehashed the Iron Man story.
And they were like, love her.
Yeah. And I mean, I get it. But when you look back at someone like Miss Marvel and what Kamala Khan is, I think that was a far better introduction of a new hero that came into her own. Because, people crapped on the idea of her, but she was a fan hero made for fans because she was a fan.
Yeah, and not only that, that was during a time like the world was healing from the 9/11 situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think people were coming together to say like people of that nature, not all of them are evil people. And Marvel was like, okay, cool. Like, well, we need to do what we do with comic books and give people someone that they can relate with and someone that they could feel comfortable with and you know, bring some beauty to the culture. And I understood that. We understood that even with the Inhumans, because during that time, the Inhumans were the people that were what the X-Men were back in the 60s.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They were the ones that were being persecuted, being shunned upon, being outcasted. And that was the thing during that time. And then Miss Marvel came along. Now they want to make her an X-Men, whatever they're doing now because of the films and whatever. But the reason why I asked about Riri Williams is because you made a really good point in saying that she's more of like a C-lister, you know, young Avengers. Not a lot of people like really clamored at it. Not really high sales, not nothing like that. Why would it be that the first person that they're going to give a villain for her be Mephisto? Like Riri Williams, a C character, not a lot of people know origin, college student, makes a little Iron Man costume, fighting the literal devil of the comic book world that is right now currently fighting Avenger Prime in the multiverse war of the multiverse Avenger shit. Like one of the biggest cosmic villains ever in comic book Marvel history. Why would that be this 19-year-old's first villain?
I think we forget what Mephisto is. Mephisto is the Marvel Universe's devil. He's their devil. And Mephisto is not out there just fighting battles. Mephisto is out there because he's looking for deals, looking for souls.
He's out there, man.
Yeah, he's looking to corrupt people. And Riri right now, with the way she's set up in the film, you know, she's lost her family. She lost her suit basically because Wakanda kept it. You know, she's going back to a mundane life. So who else doesn't have what they want that the devil can go and say, hey, you know what? I'll give you everything you had back. I'll give you everything you wanted. You just got to sign on the dotted line. You know, it's the devil's deal. It's that temptation. It's that sweet spot where a hero can be corrupted, and that's where Mephisto, as a comic book villain, exceeds. You know, he does a really good job of showing up and trying to convince you to give him what he wants and to fall. I think my favorite interaction in a comic book was, I think it's the third iteration of the Thunderbolts, when the leader from the Hulk universe, Deadpool, is there, and they go to hell to make a deal with Mephisto, and the leader pulls out a damn contract, and him and Mephisto are going line by line on this contract to make sure everybody gets something fair and even. Really shows what Mephisto really is, because he's a horrifying villain. He's a devil. Hell and brimstone. His son Blackheart's a bastard to end all bastards. But Mephisto's a deal maker.
He's a businessman. He's a businessman.
Yeah, he's 100%. He's a businessman, and I think people forget that he's not Thanos. He's not gonna throw down and fight you unless he really has to.
But he was the person that Thanos first called in because he knew he was going to be fucking with him the whole time.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's one of those things. But like my thing is like, why Riri Williams? Like, why use Mephisto when you've had all of these different opportunities to bring him in as the person he's supposed to be in the series, and use it on a failed Netflix series that hasn't even been made?
Yeah, let's get deep and overshare here. So I'm gonna use the example of real world shit, right? So there was a point in my life where I had a high paying career. I had a good annual salary. Lived with my ex-wife. I was with my son every day. I had this picture perfect, you know, atomic family setup, right? So then lost the job, got a divorce. I couldn't see my son every day. And there was this moment in my life when I was taking everything out of my old apartment, and I like to cook to relax. Yep. So while living with the ex-wife and my son, I could be at the stove. I could turn around and look behind me, and my son's bedroom was right behind me. So I can see him every day watching Paw Patrol or whatever. And I can see that he was okay, and then I'd go back to cooking dinner or cooking whatever. So at the darkest moments of my life, when I got everything out of that apartment and I turned around to look at the empty bedroom where he was at, all I could see in my head was him sitting there with his toys on the floor, laughing, saying, "Daddy, look at the Paw Patrol," and realizing that I was never going to see that way again. It was just never going to happen. And if Mephisto had showed up at that fucking instant, if he had showed up in my life and said, Michael, sign your soul away right here, and you could live that moment forever, I'd have fucking done it. I would have sold every portion of me to do it. And that's what we're going to get from Riri here. She had an extraordinary experience fighting Namor, fighting, along Avenger level heroes, fighting with a ruler of a kingdom, fighting with these, scientifically advanced group. She fought myths and legends. And then she has to go home and fucking finish homework and go work at Burger King now.
But she's gonna go back knowing that she's cool with the fucking Queen of Wakanda.
With Black Panther. Who's gonna let her call them after Secret Wars and everything else Secret Invasion and everything else that happened?
She's gonna end up just making the suit again. She made it out of scraps in the first place.
Well, yeah, but now she has to start again. What's easier than someone showing up saying, "Hey, you know what? You're killing yourself for this. I can give it all back to you." And I think that's what we're going to see here, because there's a corruption of a hero as a potential here. And I can
see that, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah, it's the easiest way to make Riri make sense, because Ironheart doesn't make sense right now.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but Mephisto could corrupt her. And I think that's...
Yeah, I mean, he could corrupt Thanos. You know what I mean? Like, fucking Thanos was like, you're first.
That's the thing with Thanos and characters like that. They have something they need, and they're willing to give it all.
True.
Yeah, if we look at the comic books, he gave everything he had for Death. He loved Lady Death. He wanted her. And that's why he goes on the route he goes with. Here, Thanos wanted to accomplish his goal, and technically he did, and then the Avengers took it back. So, there's this loss, because Mephisto wouldn't make sense for Miss Marvel. Kamala Khan is the forever optimist. Even if she lost everything, she would say, "I still have my family. I still have my powers. Hell, if they kill her family, I still have the potential to protect somebody." There's a heart there that I think Ironheart doesn't have. And you see that anger when she deals with everybody from Wakanda when they show up in her warehouse. She's pissed that they brought the cops there. She's annoyed with them. So I see that she lacks something that Mephisto will help her grow into, or Mephisto will straight up eat.
Well, what about Monica Rambeau? Isn't that bigger soul there with like special powers and like, cosmic powers? She lost everything.
Monica Rambeau has the same problem that Carol Danvers has. They're soldiers. At a certain point, they stop being corruptible because the system built them a certain way. They are used to not having things. They are used to going without. They are used to, and that's where I give Brie Larson credit for being the Carol Danvers that she is. In the comics, Carol's a bitch, straight up. She's an alcoholic, horrible human being, and Brie's attitude when she performs that character, I think, is spot on for Carol, and that gives us that aloofness that if you've hung around with a veteran that has seen things, they don't give a shit. They can get everything taken away from them at one point and know they still have their brotherhood, or they'll still keep going for some reason. The call could always come, and that's a broken system, and that's a heartbreaking system.
True.
But that's why Monica wouldn't work in this scenario, or why Carol wouldn't work in this situation, because the programming goes a certain way. The same way with Rhodey. Even if Mephisto went up to Rhodey and said, "I'll give you back your legs," Rhodey's a soldier. And he's like, "Well, fuck it. I don't need you. I can keep going this way. I don't have to set up," because the system built him a certain way.
I don't know, man. I'm really like, I guess I'm at witch ends. I'm not a big excitement for Ironheart, like in general. I think it's a bad character in the comics.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it would have been better for us to gotten White Vision out in the world, and him have made his robotic family, and us gotten Vivian. Yeah, his daughter.
Yeah, Viv.
Yeah,
to create Viv, the daughter, and the son too. Like, yeah, there's a lot of things, and I think we're gonna get that sooner or later. I think that was the next call for the series that they were gonna do. It's gonna be like Vision Quest or something like that. But Yeah, I think just in the current sense of where Marvel is, in the sense of where the comic books would be right now, it was right on the cusp of on the first entry of all new, all different.
Yeah.
There was just everybody was changed. Even the introduction of Captain America, who is all hail Hydra. Like we had the shit entry of Civil War II.
Yeah.
I think that's where we're at with these films, and that's why it's very hard to sell a lot of this stuff. James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy was pretty much a sell because it was far removed from all of this like nonsense. Then it stayed with the original team. All the characters stayed. Like there wasn't like a big clamor of like changing characters or changing roles. In fact, they did do the change of the role, which is very much to the comics, where they gave the captain role to Rocket Raccoon, who is the actual leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and Peter Quill is like the prince of the Spartax people whose father was Knives, where they changed it to Ego for this. So I don't know what they're going to do with it, but maybe the mother was a Spartax or whatnot, or she was going to be like a princess or whatnot. There's still opportunity for that, I think, but I think it's just in the factor that we're at a base where people were not really supporting Marvel Comics. So for them to be pushing on all these characters to now be the forefront for the Marvel universe, it's a hard sell.
Yeah, but I do think that's where the benefit of Loki is going to come in here, because Loki is running its show not with the mentality that it has to save the MCU, but that Loki is running its show as a Loki show.
But he has to save the MCU. He's literally trying to save the MCU.
Yeah, 100%. But I think that's where we're going to get these incursions. We're going to get the concept of pruning all these other places that you see they fucking take off in mass to go do at the end of episode 1. We're going to get that moral dilemma. What do we let live? What don't we let live? What do we change? That kind of a deal. And that's what's going to ease us into the idea of Deadpool coming in and killing off the Fox universe. And then things will combine and we get our hard reset.
Oh, man, you're going to love episode 2, man. You're going to love episode 2. It gets crazy, dude. Yeah, but I don't want to spoil anything for you. Let me see real quick what I was going to be covering with this. Yeah, of course, we had the opportunity for the Marvels. I talked about the Marvels 2 gets bad news for the box office numbers. Loki, do I think it's only going to be like 6 episodes, 8 episodes maybe? Like, I don't think this is going to be like a saving grace, but I do like the factor that they're using Loki as the character that they're going to be bringing all the multiversal problems together with. Yeah. Like, he's going to be like this conduit. There's even like talks of like Tobey Maguire coming out in the episodes, which that would be nuts. But I think people were clamoring at the idea of, I want to say like Peggy Carter or someone was in the first one in the background. I don't know if you remember this. This was during the What If series and the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness with the Illuminati. Apparently, like during one of the Loki episodes, you could see a Peggy Carter being walked by the TVA or something like that. So like this idea of someone coming in that's like a heavy hitting actor coming into the TVA as a captured character in the background is very much like the Donald Glover scene in Spider-Verse 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that kind of nature, right? Like, I mean, it would be cool. It'd be nice. Like, we do want to know what happened to Tobey Maguire after the Amazing Spider-Man movie and stuff like that. So hopefully we get something in that factor. I wanted to ask you, so far the Loki show's been doing well. I know you probably liked it also. I know you haven't seen episode 2. I don't want to really spend too much time on that then. So what I want to ask you is, did you hear about the DareDevil show and it getting all the writers fired and it being pushed back? What do you think, man?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I shared it in the Discord and Georgie and I went off on it as always.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I think it's a good thing and a bad thing.
Okay.
It's a bad thing that they fucking firebombed all the writers.
Everybody, they fuck, dude.
Yeah, that shows just a show of no confidence in your staff. So that's a bad thing, Feige doing that. But at the same time, it shows that we need to reestablish and go a different direction with what Marvel shows are currently doing and kind of stick with what's working, but at the same time give some new feeling to it. She-Hulk wasn't well received at all. I enjoyed the series for the meta of it all,
Mhm.
but we do need Daredevil to stick its fucking landing because
Most definitely. Yeah, I'm excited. When I heard about that, I was like, fuck it, by all means, fire everyone. Just give us something what we actually need. And yeah, I don't want them to ruin Daredevil. Daredevil was such a great hit from the Netflix series.
Yeah.
Like, and then for them to keep the actors, well, some of them, not all of them, and then to bring in John Burtnall as the Punisher, and then the Kingpin staying the same. Like, it's such an outstanding cast. Such an outstanding cast that I really just hope they don't ruin it. That's it. And if Kevin Feige and all these people came in and saw 8 episodes and were like, yeah, no, we're not feeling this, and then fired everybody, 100%, they can Batgirl the shit out of that series, dude. Already, they could Batgirl the shit out of it.
Yeah, I think the complaint that I read was that they were 3 episodes in and they hadn't seen Daredevil in costume yet.
Oh no, there were 4 episodes until he gets in a costume, and I was like, no, I can't do this. 13 episodes of it being drawn out, super crazy. I'm not about this life. And then not only that, the series was going to be very much like She-Hulk because it was going to be mostly all court cases.
Yeah,
and I was like, yo, we need the drama, we need the relativity of him being like a street level hero being in there and stuff like that. But yeah. Mike, I am super great. Rip Daredevil. No, hopefully real-live Daredevil. No, rip the writers, man. Daredevil lives. He's going to be reborn as the greatness he is, man. Mike, it's always a pleasure having you on the show. I appreciate you coming on and being here with me while not leaving me to do a solo show by myself and just make me sound like a silly person. I appreciate you coming on. Again, we have Psychotronic coming up. Let me go ahead and put it up on the page. You can kind of give us the breakdown and all that stuff. Give us a breakdown for Psychotronic Spree so that way people know where they can get you and find you and tickets and all that good stuff.
Yeah, our ticket link is live on the page right now. I'm going to be sharing our ads and everything through a massive push over the course of the weekend. We are doing a different kind of show. As always, guys, we are at the Cine El Rey on the 21st and 22nd, so next weekend. We're starting at 4 p.m. and going to 2 a.m. on Saturday, and then from noon to 6 on Sunday. And this is a show for grown-ups. We are going to have Stephanie Panisello, the voice of Claire Redfield from Resident Evil 2 Remake, and the 2 Netflix animated series that are currently on, animated movies that are currently on Netflix right now, which I think is Death Island, and I can't remember what the second one's called. But Stephanie's been in the Valley before. I brought her to a previous show, and she's a sweetheart. She's easy on the eyes, and she is a paintball and airsoft enthusiast. So not only can she play a woman that handles a gun, the girl can handle a gun.
Awesome. Yeah. That is so cool. Mike,
on top of that, we have the 5 adult stars. And I think right now we have Lizzie Love. We have Elena Taylor. I want to say her last name is. And everybody's favorite name, Ginger. Yaya Ginger Snaps.
Ginger Snaps, or what is it? Ginger
it's everybody's favorite name. Possibly not the most family-friendly name, but hey.
Ballsy, though. I'll tell you that much. It's ballsy. Ginger Snatch.
Yeah, but no, the show's next week. It's only $20. And like I said, you get a content-heavy experience. We're going to have some games out there for you to play to win prizes. We have minimal vendors, so it's not going to be a marketplace or just another pop-up like we were seeing happen all over the Valley right now. This different event. Yeah, this event's looking to be content heavy for you to see things, experience things, have fun with things. We'll have 2 live bands playing at night, and then it'll all lead up into the Rocky Horror Picture Show's Shadowcast performance. That's an officially licensed Rocky Horror Picture Show event. So it's 100% approved to be used. All their live stuff. The Pluma Blanco Community Theater Group has been doing this for 13 years. Nice. They've been doing this performance, so they are professionals. They basically run in the crowd. They perform stuff on stage. They do mini games with you before the show starts, and after the show starts, it's some hilarious stuff.
It's very interactive. Yeah, very
interactive, and all for $20. I mean, you can't beat that price.
True that. What do you got planned for this weekend?
This weekend, tomorrow is my niece and nephew's birthday party, so we're going to go, and the family's going to be out there and just relax. And then I got paperwork and contracts to do because, as always, I am busy and I got other events to pull off.
Excellent. Well, Mike and everybody out there in the listening world, if you are not busy, there is a small pop-up tomorrow, pop-up market, Poke Mart, thing at Starbase Gaming what is it? Starbase Gaming Cafe in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Not too far, Chef. Our favorite homie, Tsunade Margaret, is going to be out there doing some great things promoting her PokeFest. They do some really cool pop-ups for Pokemon themed events, and she has one of the biggest one, PokeFest, that happens. Super community based, really fun event. And yeah, tomorrow they got a small pop-up if you guys are down to go check it out and you guys got nothing to do and you want to go chill with some people that are like-minded and love capturing Pokemon and capturing putting animals in little balls and getting them to fight each other like, cockfights or whatever. Like, yeah, make sure you guys get out there and do some stuff. I'm going to take some softballs and paint them red and white and throw them at kids and people and try to capture everybody. So don't get hit with a softball. It might hurt. Yeah, I'm going to be out there tomorrow. We're going to definitely go check it out, but we're just going to go check it out. Like, we're not going to be guesting or anything like that. We just want to go on and just enjoy the times. Mike, I want to say thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for being a part of this. I always appreciate you coming in and sitting in the seat and on the hot mic, getting your hot take. And yeah, man, love to have you on, and we appreciate you very much, man.
Thanks for having me every single time, and I'm glad I could make it. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to pull this off. I was out to dinner, and it worked out. Yeah,
I'm so grateful, man, because sometimes it's like I hit you up last minute, and I'm like, hey, what are you doing? You want to come and talk some nerd shit? And you're like, I mean, I'm with my family, Chris, and I'm like, come on, come on.
At this point, you're like a horrible booty call that happens on a
I'm like
Friday
a little
night.
Demon on the side of your head, dude. Come on.
Like I'm getting that text like, you awake? I was like, come on, man.
Come on, dude. And I'll be like, yeah, you know what's coming, man. But yeah, man, I do appreciate you. Everybody out in the comments that were joined us today, we appreciate every one of you guys for tuning in. Don't forget, check us out on YouTube. Check us out on all your apps for podcasts and all that good stuff. Join in the conversation. Don't forget, we also have a Discord, The Average Boys with a Z. Mike and the boys are always in there just fucking clamoring and doing fucking cool memes at each other and talking cool stuff. Mike, I still want to get together and do like a badass Dungeons and Dragons Average Boys game and get something going on. Maybe we can kind of live stream it and just have a good kind of like a conversational Dungeons and Dragons episode. That'll be after
we I remember the weirdest one. Well, not even the weirdest. I've done some really weird one shots. But I had everybody roll randomly on a table, and you got one body part that could do one random superpower. So we had guys like their right foot was Iron Man's right thruster boot, and that's all they had, kind of a deal. So I can get really weird with it, or we can do traditional D&D. It's really up to you. Or we can do horror stuff. Yeah, whatever.
It would be awesome if we did like a horror Dungeons and Dragons thing. I mean, it'd be like, would you be able to do like modernized? Like we're running from like a Michael Myers or like a Saw guy or
100%. Yeah, I have actually I have a buddy of mine by the name of DM Dave. He's a professional DM and he produces stuff for the DMs Guild online. He sent me a platform to run that's basically Camp Crystal Lake, and you have a Jason Voorhees level monster chasing you, and your camp counselor is trying to save the children that are there and trying to survive.
Let's go. I would love to do some shit like that. What's like the turn-based time on that? Like, what would you say the timing is to run something like that?
For that specific module, it's a 2 to 3 hour module, depending on the player's experience level. So for you guys, since it be basically your first time, probably have to explain a few things, we're looking at about 2.5 to 3 hours to pull it off.
Nice. Well, that's something we're gonna have to definitely try to do. Maybe we can run it for like a Halloween episode or something. We just get everybody together and do like a fucking Jason Voorhees night of us, just like the startup. Like, hey guys, no conversation today. It's the Average Boys surviving Crystal Lake. We're gonna see what we can do in 2 hours of our life. We're gonna see if we can make this work. Yeah, and you'd be like the most villainous DM ever, dude.
I don't like playing a horribly mean DM because I don't have to do something you're going to do to yourself. And that's what I try to teach new dungeon masters. That they're like, oh, well, I'm going to be the bad guy. I'm going to kill everybody. It's like, no. Most players are dumb. They're going to do it to themselves. Just let it happen. That's the way I play. Like,
dumb, Mike. I am really dumb.
Yeah, I will give you the options and give you the chance. And you'll most likely kill yourself. So it's going to be hilarious.
Like I told you, like one of the first times I ever played Dungeons and Dragons, I was playing with a friend of mine named Eddie Lopez. And he was, there was one scene that we were like, It was, of course, like the basic stuff. I think I was a dwarf, and my character's name was Brocephus. I thought that was like the coolest name, like bro. You know what I mean? Like, but just a little dwarf guy. And I just made him super mean, like just always mean to everybody, just like super, just a dick. And this little old lady's crying in her house, and our main captain of the team was like, "Let's go check it out." And she comes in and says, "There's something in my couch, and I don't know what it is." And they were like, "Okay, well, Chris, you got to roll first. Brocephus, what do you want to do?" And I was like, "Attack the couch." And they were like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna straight attack the couch. Like, what do I do?" And they're like, "Well, you got to roll. You got to roll for this." So I roll for it, and I get like a 3, and I end up getting mauled by a raccoon. I get fucking mauled. I like missed the couch completely. I fell. The raccoon like saw me while I was laying on the ground, jumped out, and like just beat the fuck out of me. Apparently, like this raccoon was on steroids or something. But yeah, that's kind of like my life. And then the guy had like necromancer powers, so he was able to bring me back. And yeah, but I like had like a missing toe, or I don't know. There was something that was like going on, but it's gonna be an adventure to kind of play with me. I'm very charismatic, dude. Very charismatic. It's going to be great. You're going to love it. Mike, I want to say it again. Thank you very much for coming in. Guys, don't forget, check out Psychotronic. Hit it up. Facebook was already posted up. Go check it out. It's all over Facebook. Don't miss out next week. Mike, again, thank you very much for tuning in, and everybody else out there, 12 extraordinary listeners. Thank you guys very much for tuning in again on this live Friday Average Boys podcast. We appreciate every one of you. Have a good weekend. Stay safe. I don't know. Wash your cake holes. Be clean, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.